Everything's up and running. Gonna start now in a minute. I'm just gonna get warmed up for the next 10 minutes or so. It's great music. Love this music. Sadly, you get, well, you don't get copyright striked for using it, but they will ding your videos. Well, I don't monetize my streams anyway, so don't care. Also means I can't really upload them, but I don't monetize those either, so who cares? I'll shut up now. Right. Leave that as it is. My hands are absolutely freezing, despite the weather at the moment. It's already been a long day. It's only half, well, it's not even 5:30 yet. It's already been a long day. Let's see. I can't even think of what I want to talk about aside from the main topics at hand. I suppose I should wait for more people to actually chime in before I actually start talking about anything though, so that's probably the best idea. Well, I hope your Sundays are going great. My Sunday's been very good so far. The weather, it's easily the best weather of the year today. So as soon as I saw the weather, I was like, I am not wasting that for a moment. So I hopped on the motorbike and I was out for a few hours and it was great. The weather was just like clear blue skies, no wind, and it was actually really, really good. So I actually recorded a bit of it. So I've actually been working on this at the moment. So I got a GoPro just recently. Well, I say recently, I got it a couple of months ago. I never really used it though. It's mainly for plans that I have in the future. Nothing to do with the channel or anything else like that. But I wanted to record trips on my motorbike. So I tried to test one there today. So this is going to be raw footage. It's not stabilized. Unfortunately, GoPro software is weird that you have to put it through their software, and the stabilization technology is actually in their software. So if you just rip the video off the camera itself, it's not stabilized, which is it's super annoying. But it's just raw footage. So this is just raw footage. It doesn't shake like this when it's actually stabilized. So the stabilization does work, but yeah, it doesn't work like that now. But I took a small trip. Like it wasn't even that far away, to be perfectly honest. It was a good trip though. Like you can see, the sky was just clear blue, and it was great. I'm a learner at the moment. I'm behind the learner driver. I'm giving the learner driver a wide berth. I've learned to do that, especially with people in driving school cars. I give them a wide berth because I have been brake checked by one of them. So, well, it wasn't really a brake check. It was a slight one, but it was just hesitation on their part, you know. So I give them as wide a berth as I can, except here. So I just pull into them. But yeah, getting out of here, getting out of the estates. I'm going to an industrial estate there. Starting to get out into the countryside around this point. And yeah, it was recorded in battery saver mode as well. So I got a bit close here. I went into this corner a bit quick, primarily. Well, I didn't go in there quick actually. I was actually going at a proper speed. But I was supposed to turn in earlier, but this really caught me off guard. The fact that these shores were actually here, right on my driving line. And shores in Dublin, the covers are notorious for being extremely slippy. So the fact that there was two of them back to back there, I immediately went, oh crap, no, I'm not going over this at any sort of mad angle, because if I do, I'm going to lose the bike. I'm a 125 guy. Like, if I was on a liter bike, the bike would definitely be like dangerous here. But despite the fact, like, this is a dangerous bend, but the fact that they're there, it made me actually just go out a bit more. And yeah, it just caught me off guard, the fact that those shores were there, because I was always taught to watch out for shores, especially on a turn. The fact that they're on the turn is really annoying. So I'm like, oh Jesus. But I didn't actually leave my lane, so that's fine. So I actually did the turn correctly, and I remembered my lessons well. But at this point as well, I was pretty nerve-wracked by the fact that I had a BMW driver on my ass. You probably can't see him in the mirrors, but believe me, he's there. He's on my ass. He's going to overtake me right now. So that BMW was riding my ass the entire time, and I hate BMW drivers for that reason, because they're constantly like, they're constantly wanting to go quick. And you can see he couldn't wait to overtake me, even on a solid line. Like, he's just like, I wasn't going slow. I went slow on the corner, yeah, but I was approaching 50, and the speed limit of these roads was 50. So yeah, but all in all, it was a great day, to be honest. Like, I got rid of him, thank God. There was literally another one behind me at this point here, so I went into this, like, usually I go a bit slower into roundabouts like this, but he was on my ass as well, but luckily he turned away at this point. And luckily there was nobody else in my lane either. Oh, you're seeing the story, and how are you? So I'm literally passing by my driving school at this point, so you don't see me looking at it, primarily because the camera's mounted on my chest. Or it's rather on harness around my neck. So my driving school is literally in there. So I gave it a... it'll probably show now. No, it doesn't. I just gave it a quick glance and I continue on. But I had a good drive around, to be honest. I enjoyed it. And it was my first recording, so I didn't really mind actually doing something like that. I approached this corner a little too quickly. I think I gave the driver enough warning. But he was on, that yellow car was on my ass as well, to be honest. So he shouldn't have been that close to me, especially on the speed limit I was going. But the issue is, the more you get out to the countryside, the more they don't give a shit about speed limits. So I was literally going in there for lunch at that point, because I saw it on Google Maps before I left, and I'm like, right, I'm going in there for lunch. I'm gonna relax for a while. All good with me. But yeah, that was just my day out, and you can see the sky is absolutely massive. Best day. Dublin Airport is literally right there, so I went around the airport. But yeah, I just wanted to show it off. That was a good day for me. I was happy with that day, to be honest. I probably will upload that onto another YouTube channel, primarily because I'm starting to get into the practice of actually using it. That's the first time I actually used it on the bike. I've used it going for walks and stuff like that, just see how it behaves and stuff like that, but that was the first time using it on the bike, so it was nerve-wracking, but it actually looked really good, and it looks much better when the software stabilizes it. Darkness, happy Sunday. So it's approaching 5:30 now, so I suppose we'll get started on what we need to do. However, just give me a second, I'm going to turn my heating off here. getting a bit warm. Okay, right. So, subject of this stream, which was, I was planning to do 2 videos, to be honest. I was planning to do a video, 2 theory videos rather, going over my ideas of what the plot is going to be for the rest of Arcadion, and where the plot seems to be going in terms of Calyx and 7.2 and beyond. The MSQ I'm a little less sure about, but things are starting to go. But I kind of want to do this with you. I kind of want to do the investigation together. So I suppose we'll start with Arcadion. That's probably the best place to start. Being around here is not going to help though. Actually, I want to talk to them because I've never talked to them actually. And I didn't record the text dialogue for the second half of the actual Arcadion, unfortunately. So it's good that I got to talk to them though. But we'll go back to the inn in a second. We'll go over some of the clips, some of the video footage, and I'll go over my ideas of who the president is and where this seems to be going. So, let's see here. Yana, how you doing? Come see how I'm faring. That's very kind of you. Truth is, I'm worried sick about Nauni and Eutrope, which is, to be fair, yeah, that's very fair. But I know only too well that now is not the time to act rashly. Instead, Ritsara and I have put our heads together. Ritsara is Harley Blade, isn't he? To see if there's anything we can do without drawing the president's attention. So please, don't worry about me. You should focus on preparing for the heavyweight tier. Your opponents will be fiercer than any before, and you'll need to be in tip-top shape to best them. I wonder what the heavyweight tier is going to be like. The only example of a heavyweight tier that we've actually faced is Eutrope, but she wasn't at her best. So, makes me wonder what they're going to be like. We haven't seen anybody using a Behemoth Soul yet, so I have a feeling there's going to be a Behemoth Soul user in the heavyweight tier. As for what other creatures, probably something, probably some native of the ninth, perhaps. Well, you never know. Retsara with the cats. Oh, I love these cats. To think the president would stoop so low as to abduct Eutrope, convalescing as she is, and Nauni, a helpless child. We must do all in our power to get them back. And when we have, we must stop him once and for all. Deep down, I know that's also what Hector would have wanted. Okay, so he's confirming that as well. Because I was a bit unsure at first until I actually looked back at the logs of the chat from 7.0. But the president is confirmed to be male, because they say him and his a lot, so I'm mainly thinking about gender based on ideas other people are having as to the identity of the president himself. But we're going to need to use some cutscenes for this, so yeah, we'll go back to Studio Low. I actually did record most of my clear through, but it started turning into a hot mess, to be perfectly honest, and I decided not to bother for the rest of it. So I was going to upload that as a second part, but I said, you know what, I'm not going to do it anymore. There's other fish to fry. So I want to go over some of the cutscenes in this regard, primarily just to give a bit of a timeline, but actually I think I'll use screenshots first. I think I'll turn off the in-game music for now and we'll go to the other music, primarily because I want to keep the soundtrack going, and I don't know why I sang it like that. Here we go. Okay, so let me see, do I have screenshots from Arcadion? Alliance raids? No, that's not it. Raids, Arcadion. Okay, those are the first ones. Where's the second ones? Oh, I probably didn't put them in the right folder, did I? Crap. Okay. I think I stuck them in the Alexandrian folder by mistake. Give me a second. Alexandria. Did I or didn't I put them into this location by mistake? The answer, if I filter by date and go ascending, actually the answer is no, I didn't. Where the hell did I put them? I had screenshots, or maybe I didn't take screenshots. I would have thought I did, though. Sorry about this. Give me a sec. Oh, maybe I put them into story characters to okay, sorry, never mind. I even get confused by my own file system, to be perfectly honest. Okay, yeah, by name and ascending. Yeah, that's the one. There we go. Okay, so that's, yeah, so that's 7.2. Okay. So let's look at it like that. Okay. All right. So that's what we're looking for. Let's see. All right. So that's MSQ. We'll come back to that. So first and foremost, yeah. So this is where it starts. This is where the brute bomber comes into play. Yeah. Okay. So I don't want to talk about him though. He's a whole bag of cats. I love that artwork that Sugar Rush made. Is it her name Sugar Rush, right? It's Sugar Rush, isn't it? Or is it Sugar? What is her name? Hang on. Where's my Arcadion? Arcadion. That's the one. Okay, yeah, I'm going to need this as well, primarily because this is my dialogue from 7.0 as well. But I suppose I should just start with who I think the president is. And my guess as to who it is unchanged. I had the same guess in 7.0, and I still have the same guess here. And my opinion is Metem is the president. Now, by looking at some forums and Reddit and stuff like that, people have a few ideas about who it is. There's one idea I actually want to quickly go through before I get on to Metem, right? So I need to get a picture of Metem first in order to actually verify this. But somebody said that Metem might be Teleji Ateleji, or the president might be Teleji Ateleji. But let's assume for a second that Metem is the president and he's the 9th Teleji Ateleji. Okay, where is it? Raid. Arcadion. I don't have a good picture of the guy, do I? No, that's not a good picture of him. I need a proper picture of Metem. Do I not have one? Okay. No, it's the wrong location again. Is this the wrong location again? No, that's right. Okay, never mind. I don't have any pictures of him. Damn it. Alright, I'm gonna have to get a picture of him through here. We're gonna have to look at him here real quick. Because I need just a proper picture of Metem before I can go on. Because I want to compare Metem to Teleji Ateleji. Because I have a picture in my mind of what Teleji Ateleji looks like, but I kind of just want to verify it here. It's under here, right? We'll get a proper picture of him, I think, at the end of Cruiserweight M. No. Sorry. No, it's... No, that's the... These are the duties. No, never mind. Side quests. No, it's not side quest. It's Chronicles of a New Journey. Arcadion. That's the one we want. Okay, so we're looking for... Not here, not here, not here. It's after the Dancing Mad, the Art of War. Okay, it's probably here. Just so I can get... Yeah, because I think he rushes in afterwards. So, just to get a proper picture of the guy. Or is it... No. No, this is wrong again. Damn it, is it? It is. She's cute, though. I love her. She's really cute. Let's see. No, that's... Yeah, here we go. That's the one we want. Take me ages to get my wheels moving now, isn't it? He's here. He's here. Around here somewhere. So, I mean, I just have to get a picture of him. We have an emergency. Yeah. What's the emergency? So, Metem, I think, runs in after a few seconds. Hope you're having the best time. You too, Brad. So, there's the brute. So, it's actually good watching this as well. Hand over all the feral souls you got. He's not in the Arcadion here. He's actually in an illegal soul dealer. Oh, there's a proper picture of him. Yeah. Alright, we'll take that as a proper picture of him. But yeah, I'm interested to see this interaction again, actually. This is a violation of rules. You'd be banned for this. Although... Jesus Christ. that was a nasty punch. Holy crap. Okay. So... I'll get back to that in a minute, because this goes back to my Metem theory. So I want to just confirm this, just in my head before anything else. So let me see here. So we're looking for this. We're looking for this, and we're under screenshots, and we're under here. Okay. So we've got, yeah, so that's him. So Teleji Adeleji. I mean, he kind of looks like him, I guess. Let me get a proper picture of him though. Right, yeah, that'll do. That'll do as a picture of him. Right, so let's compare. Oh God, yeah. Let's compare them for a second. I mean, they're both one Lala looks like another. Unfortunately, we tend to just blend together sometimes. Hairstyles are different. Mustache is similar but different. He doesn't have the under thing either, but that's more of a fashion choice rather than just is he or isn't he. The eyes are different though. Eyes are a different color. Although I'm starting to think this is more of a facade, to be honest. Right, so I suppose it's as good a time as I need to say this, right? So I think Metem is definitely the president, and I have a few reasons for thinking so. So the first bit of dialogue we get with Metem, right? So we encounter him. So, I found you at last. Remember when we walk up to the Arcadion in 7.0? And let's see, what does he say? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Yeah. So here's the piece of dialogue here. So it was, and so for your strength and valor, the president of the Federation has marked you to be the Arcadians' next great star. So the president sought us out even before we knew what the Arcadian really was, which is interesting. I mean, our name is known all around Alexandria at this point. We did help save the entire city, so it makes sense that they knew who we are. But the fact that he's saying that the president did it, and also he apparently talked to the president and the president said such and such, I had no inkling at the time that Metem might be the president. But here's why I think he is. So there are so far 3 characters that we know of that know who the president is and who have actually physically been in the same room and met the president. The 3 characters are Eutrope, the Brute Bomber, and Howling Blade. I'm just going to call them by their stage names because it's easier, to be honest. But yeah, the first inkling I got that Metem might be the president is that Eutrope knows the president, but you'll notice in 7.0 she never shares a scene with him. So the moment that Eutrope faces, walks in on us in the gym, she's talking to us in the gym, and then she hears that somebody's about to come in, and she runs through the back door of the gym, and then Metem comes in. So it's like, alright, they just missed each other, but had they been in the same room, she would have been like, wait, president? What the hell are you doing here? But that never happens. We never see that interaction. I went with that for the time being. That was confirmation in my head that, yeah, I think he might actually be the president. But then we get 2 more characters who have met the president and know him on a personal level, and that's Brute Bomber and Howling Blade. Now, we saw there just a minute ago the Brute Bomber's interaction with the president. Let's see here. I don't suppose we'll see any of the others here, will we? We will not. But yeah, we saw the interaction that it's literally this one here. So this is unbelievable, folks. So he's in character at this point, and he's still talking to the camera, which we saw the camera there a second ago. And Brute was not having any of that. He was kind of out of control at this point. So even if this was the president and he knew it was, I think he was a bit out of control. and pissed off at this point, and he had nothing to lose, so he didn't give a shit about the president at this point, and he knocked Metem out. But I have a feeling that this is pretty much all a persona. I don't think any of this getup is real. I mean, naturally, it's a disguise, essentially. Like, I think this is all a disguise. Even the eye color might be a disguise. This guy is somebody else. Like, the Telegia kind of way people are saying it is, it's plausible, to be honest, because I think this is all a facade. Now, we have heard the president, or rather, we've seen the president talk twice. So, when Eutrope invaded the ring, after the third fight, and she's like, I'm challenging Wyrm to a duel. You have insulted my honor. Slap, slap. Metem wasn't in the ring. Metem was actually in the announcement booth, or wherever it was. And then all of a sudden you heard the message from the president broadcasting over the PA system and saying, oh, this is an interesting one. And I think the dialogue is actually right here. So let me look for... Oh, no, that's not what I want to do. Let's look for president. So, president. Yeah, so here it is. So, Eutrope, I will have your soul, prepare yourself. What's this? And Metem does his usual thing. He never breaks character. And then another voice comes through. Intriguing. Most intriguing. And then Metem's like, this voice, it's the president. Why would he be so surprised? I mean, I know it's for our benefit because none of these scenes are voiced. But I think Metem's voice that we hear him in the raids with is actually put on as well. I think that's a deep fake. So I think this is actually Metem talking, and he's trying to just go, yeah, it's the president. I will allow a special exhibition, Max. Prepare Wicked Thunder's ring and prepare yourself, upstart. You heard it, folks, by permission of the president, and you can see his entire personality changes as well, which is really interesting. So he's definitely very good at this. Now, there's another character, as I said, right? Brute Bomber is one character, or we've already gone through the 2 of the 3 characters that knew the president. Eutrope, as I said, never interacted with him. Brute Bomber was a bit too crazy to actually, well, communicate anything. I don't think he gave a shit who the president was at that point anyway. But the third one is Howling Blade. Now, Howling Blade interacts... Well, actually, he doesn't interact with them at all. So, the probably best way to show you this is during the Lone Wolf. Oh, no, it's during the Twisted Vendage. I think it's this one here. So, watch this, right? So, yeah, Brute Annihilator is dead at this point. Metem is there. And even during this tragic point, think about this for a second. Even during this tragic moment, Metem does not break character and he's still acting like an asshole. Like, watch what he does here. I mean, granted he's an announcer, he's supposed to set the mood and stuff like that. And now the cameras are off now. The president's broadcast has cut the instant the match ended so as not to reveal the terrible side of his entertainment. Yeah, that's your idea, Metem. I'm sure he's controlling the bloody camera. He remains furious that you divulge information on psychonecrosis. I will do my best to appease him, but I fear little will come of my efforts. Do you see that as well? Like, and then he walks off. But this is the important part. He's gone now at this point. The cat comes in. There's a bit of damage comes in. And then Howling Blade makes his appearance. And lo and behold, Metem is now completely gone. He's disappeared. So there's no way for Howling Blade to turn around and go, President? That solidified it for me at that point, just going, he's definitely the president. There's too many things coming together in that fashion to make me think otherwise. So I found that extremely interesting. But the fact that he puts on these personas and all is really, really mad. Now, it should be the last scene where you see him here. So this is the second time we heard the president's voice. kitties. Look at the chubby one. And yeah, that camera will actually make a really good minion. I hope we get it. I wouldn't mind that at all. Pets are forbidden, so the pets are going to stay here. Yeah, of course they are. Right, so we'll skip all this. Come on. Here we go. There we go. She's upstairs resting. Yep, there we go. We have to wait now. Kittens. Oh, that chubby one is really cute. Right, and cue the TV, cue the president's voice, and you can see Matem is nowhere to be seen either. Not that he's a reason to be here at this point. So the president comes over the monitor, and it's addressed as familiar voice, because don't forget we actually have heard the president talk once, which is why it says familiar. At first I thought, wait, why does it say familiar? Wyrm, the unenhanced warrior, for your contributions to the excitement provided by Ascension Arcadia, you have my utmost esteem. However, I cannot suffer anyone to rewrite my script. And so, as to safeguard against further deviations, I have taken Eutrope and Yuni into my care. After some coaxing, Matem divulged to me that you wish to cure psychonecrosis. Yeah, sure. Sure he did. And just so happens I know where you can find the stimulants you seek. The drop of life, it is called. Sure he does. Of course, he had the cure the entire time. Two simple things. Wyrm could continue to fight in the Arcadian, and you must never again meddle with my script. Nothing needs to change otherwise. If you become Grand Champion Wyrm, our soul repository will be at your disposal, and it will even disclose the location of the drop of life. That is all. I look forward to seeing your exploits at the pinnacle of the Ascension Arcadia Championship, the heavyweight division. Right. So, what do we make of that then? So, let me go to the dialogue here real quick. So, he has a very flat dialogue compared to Matem, of course, but Matem is a facade. The fact that he's trying to enforce it as well, just to say, after some coaxing, Matem divulged to me that you wish to cure psychonecrosis. Yeah, sure he did. Sure he did. Of course he did. You think she's going to fight again? Perhaps, actually, yeah. You might be right. So, the two simple things, right? So, let's look at his dialogue, right? So, I cannot suffer anyone to rewrite my script, which makes me think that he has an agenda. He has a plan in motion that he wants to have fulfilled. It's not like that he wants the Arcadian to continue on forever. And don't forget where he says it here. If you become Grand Champion Wyrm, our soul repository will be at your disposal, and it will even disclose the location of the drop of life. So the moment we get access to that soul repository, we're going to empty the entire thing into the Ethereal Sea, mind you. So there's going to be no feral souls left. I don't think they're going to be collecting anymore, so I think the Arcadian comes to an end at that point. But why is the president so interested to see the fact that we're going to become champion and empty the soul repository? And don't forget, Matem was the one that actually mentioned this. Don't forget this part. So, if you become our soul repository will be at your disposal, and I will even disclose the location of the drop of life. Don't forget that Matem was the one who said this to us first. He said, if you become champion, you'll gain access to our soul repository. I mean, it's not... Why would you give your Grand Champion the ability to shut down your entire operation? This just screams to me that Matem has an ulterior motive. He's acting like the bad guy, and granted he is the bad guy, but I don't think it's as simple as being just like the bad guy. I think he has another agenda behind him. It's just all a matter of who the hell he is and what the hell he's doing. But I think Matem and him are one and the same. But exactly what their plan is and what it's all going to even out to is unknown at this stage. Now, I can't really speculate as to exactly what they're going to. We don't have enough variables. We don't have all the numerals. So it's very hard to actually figure out exactly what he wants. Like, it's clear he wants us to fight 4 more times. So we're going to fight 4 more heavyweights. However that ends up. And it's going to end with us being Grand Champion, of course. And then we're going to get access to the Soul Repository. We're going to empty it out. Free all the souls. And we're going to, well, potentially shut down the Arcadion. So this all happens in 7.4, which is exciting. But yeah, we can't really figure out exactly who it is. But I'm not trying to figure out exactly what is going to happen in 7.4, to be honest. I'm mainly trying to figure out who the president is, and I still think it is Metem. Based on everything I've seen, I think it's the most likely scenario. Although some people have had a few theories. The Telegia one of the Ninth Reflection is one. Other people were saying he is the Tataru of the other reflection. I mean, I don't think there's a gender specific. I mean, we've only seen gender specifics between ourselves and Azem, for example. But that's not a constant, we don't think. So chances are, like, there's a male variant and a female variant depending on how the soul incarnates and how it's born. But yeah, that's just mainly my opinion now, that Metem equals Arcadian president. So that's where I'm going as far as 7.2 and 7.4. Now, let's see here. I suppose it's a good time to actually jump onto 7.2 MSQ. And we have a lot to unpack on that one as well. Now, so the main one of 7.2, reprieve from death, but at what cost? For endless life, a legion lost. That was the line that we got, wasn't it? Or maybe it wasn't the line we got. I don't remember, actually. I think it was, because I took the screenshot there. Very unusual character. The way he talks is very interesting as well. His interest in us is very interesting as well. Like, so did I record the 7.2 MSQ? I'm fairly positive I did. Give me a second. I'm fairly positive I recorded the MSQ, because this will make it a lot easier to digest. I usually do record the MSQ, to be honest. So reservation is behind. No, I was recording something else at that point. That's how I made the ringtone. So I recorded it in the scene. Yeah, so I recorded that. Where is it? Is that it? No. That it? That's 8 gigabytes in size. It looks right. It's the right day. No, that's the Arcadion. Never mind. I did the Arcadion after, so that's not it. That's part of it. That's part of it as well. I recorded the duty. Sorry, never mind. Okay, so I didn't record the MSQ, damn it. Or maybe I did, actually. Is this it? I recorded the duty again as well, and the camera was there. Although, yeah, to be fair, Calyx does show up in this as well. So, this is the part I actually wanted. So, we'll go from there, right? So, let's see. I'll go into that in a second, FVC. I bid you press on. So, you can see here, right? So, press on. He's very interested in us. He wants to see us fight. He wants to see us do different things. He's challenging us at this point because he wants us to summon allies. But he hasn't given us enough of a challenge yet, so... yeah, these challenges ended up not being enough. Oh, yes. And my microphone was on at this point as well. So... let's see. Yeah, that. The NPCs in this one as well. Did anybody play this with the NPCs and the NPCs were really vindictive and trying to kill you? I had a really hard time with the NPCs in this one.
Perhaps.
They were constantly going at me. Oh, do I not have it here? Damn it! Okay. Oh. Okay, maybe I didn't record it after all. It has to be... It must be this. Hang on. Yeah, I took footage of her. Mainly because I like to record it, but this is after the fact as well. Damn it. Okay, I'm gonna have to go with this then. So, let's see. Nope. That's underkeep. Descend. That's probably it, actually. Now that I look at it. Let's see. No, that's after the fight. So there should be 2 more cutscenes before that. So it should be cutscene number... I'd say number 3, maybe? I doubt it. No, too early. Cutscene number 2. So you can see that... Well, you'll see now in a second. But he's very interested in our ability to utilize SM's power. He doesn't understand what SM's power is.
What?
I think he's under the impression it has something to do with the key, because don't forget the original, the Duplicant's Fiend showed up looking for the key, and Calyx wants the key as well. Dual Throne is there. Projector is activated. That's a nice setup though, I like that. Alexandria Castle as it used to be, the old emblem. And Calyx is still deep at work.
Oh, it seems our guest brought company.
Yes, kind of.
So this was your doing?
Uh-huh.
It was. We installed a teleporter that is triggered by the presence of the key, you see?
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. But why not just teleport the key?
I'm afraid etheric transmissions cannot penetrate the walls of the throne room.
Uh-huh, sure. It was built before cell signals were even a
confess
concept,
the
right?
Valiapira did not suffice to assess your capabilities.
Yeah, so now he needs to throw something bigger
So
at
I shall
us.
try something else.
Uh-huh. I like his tablet, by the way. I like the fact that they put, like, buttons we'd recognize at the side as well. So an on-off button and a volume rocker.
You are free to use anything at your disposal. The better you fight, the more accurate my data.
Great character. I like
Attaining a precise measure of your strength, that is the most expeditious way.
So why is he trying to measure our strength?
To reclaim the key to which you so stubbornly cling.
And yeah, that's the answer, I guess. Nope.
No.
Yes, we don't want to listen to you.
What? This machine is Zelenia.
Nope, it's not Zelenia.
Indeed.
Nope, come on. Mm-hmm. She's really a very punchable face.
The endless me being... But to
I do like this new Sphene.
This disgrace I cannot abide.
Yes, she has a proper amount of emotion in her as well, which is really good. And he's like,
Loath though I am to comply with...
Yes, I know.
If she were...
Come on, get to the point already.
So please...
I have something to add on that as well. Give me a second. I'll do that afterwards as well. Alright, so here's the important bit. So, crystal out. Time for some summoning. And then he's like, So this is what he's been waiting for. He wanted to see this in action.
Ah, there it is.
But he can't measure it. Well, he probably did some sort of measurement of it after we did the summoning. Entirely possibly you might be able to replicate it given enough power, but you never know. But the fact that he's very interested in that as well just says something. You get Hermes Amon vibes from Calyx. Maybe because he's a scientist rarely dealing with death and a bowl cut greenish eyes. Hermes wasn't really... Yeah, I guess Amon I could understand. Hermes, not so much. Dudalaphon is an interesting character though as well. That we never get to see. Just like with 2 more of the Ascians. Or the lesser ones at least. But we don't get a full answer in that regard. But Calyx is just... He's interesting. In that we don't know exactly what his goal is. Although it seems to be interdimensional fusion again. In order to create more Endless again for some reason. And he's moving a lot of chess pieces on this board in order to make his dreams reality. So we'll go to his last lines, which I think is around here. The innovator of architecture and patron of invention. I mean, that could be him.
Oh, you're safe.
There's other characters that actually would match this as well. He seems fairly emotionless, doesn't he? He seems like a proper scientist in that regard. He's just like he's put emotion aside.
Right.
I think we have to skip over a couple more scenes. Now, the one thing I find interesting as well about this is the crown. So, we knew at 7.0 that the crown was going to be coming into the fore at some point. The crown is important. We know the crown is important. We didn't understand why. And now the crown is thrown up again. And for some reason, Calyx chose to give us the crown. And according to Shale, it doesn't really have anything stored within it that we're aware of. One idea I was playing with in that regard is it's entirely possible that what do you call her again? What do we call the current, the Sphene that we're... What do we call her again? It's not Sphene 2, it's... No, we call her Sphene. We call the other one Endless Sphene and then Supplicant. Yeah, sorry. So Sphene. So... I keep closing the bloody chat for some reason. Okay. Don't do that again. Okay. So... The crown is currently in Sphene's possession. One idea I'm playing with in my mind is in 7.3, Sphene, the Sphene we have here, is going to go through kind of like, she's going to go through her Grahatia kind of thing. Like, remember when Grahatia's soul and memory was taken from the first, brought back to the source, and they were merged with his younger self, which is in the Crystal Tower? I think that's something like what's going to happen. I think the memories that were developed by Endless Sphene are going to be merged into the Sphene that we are aware of. She'll instantly catch up with everything that's happening. And their consciousnesses, both of their consciousnesses will kind of merge together. And in the end, it'll just be Queen Sphene. And I think this is how she'll end up continuing on. So the end result then is going to be that Galulja is going to be the King of Resolve, and then Sphene is going to retake her place as the Queen of Reason. This is why the funeral and all was brushed aside as well. So at the end, they'll decide, you know what, we're not going to bother with the funeral or anything else, or even trying to prove that was right or wrong anymore, because Sphene has returned. So I think that's how the crown's going to end up coming into play. But I think it makes us realize as well that I think the reason... There's also another reason, actually. I forgot to mention this. I think Endless Sphene had full awareness of Calyx and what Calyx was doing. Now, if you recall back... I probably have a proper screenshot of this as well. Do you know that? So I need to go back. Back. So we need to go... This is too far. This is too far. Dang it. I probably don't have it, to be honest. Do you know where it probably is? I recorded my entire playthrough for a reason. Don't forget that. I played it for exactly this reason. So let me see. Hang on. Let me get to my channel here real quick. So if I always end up needing footage, I can always just go back to my Dawn Trail journey and we'll find it there. So we're looking for a particular scene before this, before this, before or after, no, before this. We're looking for Sveen. There we go, that's the part.
For one, people have become accustomed to having spare souls. Without them,
No, that's not it, is it? No, that's not it.
Right, what do I think? I think Speen is a... Those are etchings to allow...
No, that's not it.
Father, who's the mother.
Dang it.
Or is it...
Is it here? Where is it?
Stay calm. Kafkiwa has yet to be alerted, yes?
No, that's Soralja.
Take her to the back room as fast
Maybe I'm
as
not gonna find it, to be honest. You probably all know what I'm talking about. It's when Sveen is giving us a guided tour of Solution 9. And she, at one moment, she kind of breaks character. And she's just like, I need to tell you something. And then she looks over and she sees one of the security bots. And then she's like, wait, never mind, I can't actually say anything. And then she walks off. And we always wondered exactly what she was going to say. And we know now she was going to ask for help. But she knew she couldn't ask for help, apparently because she was getting spied on. Now, originally we thought that this was because of Zoralja. But the more I think about Zoralja, the more I think, does he really give a shit what she does? He doesn't. He only has one focus on his mind, and it's not her. He already has her, like, literally, he already has her in the palm of his claws. He doesn't care. I think what she was actually being aware of, Endless Fiend, is the fact that Calyx had a certain amount of control in the background that even Zoralja didn't realize. So I think Endless Fiend was fully aware of Calyx's being around. Considering she's been around for a long time, I think it's highly likely. They've probably interacted. She might have even been a creation of Calyx's at some point. He might have been manipulated by Calyx. So I think that's the reason she looked at the bot and just went, no, never mind, Calyx is going to figure out something. So Calyx has always been there. And the story made a very good attempt of making us think of Zoralja, but I don't think Zoralja was going to be sitting there looking at a screen or looking at logs or anything like that. He doesn't give a shit. He has two things in mind and it's nothing to do with this. So I think that was definitely Calyx. So it's just an example of Calyx being in the story since 7.0. He's only showing his face now, but that's the reason. So I think where the crown comes back in, like, I think the crown still has a portion of Endless Fiend's memories. And I think that the Sphene that we're currently aware of is going to put the crown on in order to try and access those memories. And then she'll realize, wait, Calyx has done this and Calyx has done that. This is actually what he's doing. He's interacted with Endless Fiend before. And then that leads on to the rest of 7.3 and the rest of it. Like, this is foreshadowing as well. The fact that Calyx is here and the statue or the big tower of Queen Sphene is in the background as well it's very telling as well, isn't it? I think that's at the last part is actually where he shows it, isn't it? I think this is where he comes into play. Yeah, there it is. Interesting place to hide out at as well, isn't it? It makes me think that this terminal is still active.
By illness weakened, by wounds unmade, by age decayed. Such fragile flesh is worthless to us.
I mean, he kind of sounds like an Ascian, doesn't he? And this, we still don't understand this.
How mankind
I mean, I
should
guess
evolve,
it's
shall evolve.
allowing him to
Have
survive, but
already
he's an
arrived
endless.
at
Why
the
does he
answer.
need something like that? An endless wouldn't require that. Is it doing something else? That's just literally just
The
like...
time is come to pose a new question.
What's the question? We don't have the question. And we never got the answer or the question. So, yeah, that's his dialogue. How mankind should evolve, shall evolve, I have already arrived at the answer. And apparently the answer is endless, but it's not... I don't think it's going to be as simple as just making endless. I think there's something different about the endless that he's trying to create. Possibly not reliant on terminals. I'm starting to think he's not reliant on a terminal either. He's definitely obsessed with immortality, but he looks so sickly it makes me think he was made endless improperly or incompletely. True. Like, the thing with immortality in FF14 is that there's so many versions of immortality in FF14. There's been multiple characters who cracked the code of immortality. Amon is a prime example. He used the theorychemistry to unlock the secrets of immortality. He's going down the same path as the Omicrons. It kind of makes sense as well, actually, now that you think about it. He seems very robotic. Like, he seems like a very emotionless guy. That's why he's coming across as pretty robotic. What does this thing say about him? I don't know why, but Sphene and Calyx look insanely similar. You think? We didn't see anything from Sphene to suggest that, like, we know she knows who he is, and he was a young pioneer of electrope technology back in the day when she was alive. But we never really got any other answers regarding him. Like, it's entirely possible he might be some relation to her. Like, she knew who he was. So I think he was around when she was around. So I was going to say clone at some point, but I don't think that's going to be necessarily correct. It's just really weird. Maybe this is just... Is it possible that he was alive at some point before he was an Endless? But maybe he had this implant before he was an Endless. Maybe it was a way of dealing, because he was trying to... Don't forget, one thing Calyx was trying to do was resolve the issue of the elemental sickness that a lot of the Alexandrians actually are afflicted with because of lightning aspected aether. So he was trying to crack this thing as well. So perhaps when he was alive, he had this... What the hell do you call it? Whatever you call it. This medical implant. Possibly to stabilize his own aether. And maybe when he made himself an Endless, it's kind of like an identity kind of tick. Like if you have a scar on your arm and you recreate yourself in a virtual space, you remember, wait, I had the scar, and then the scar ends up appearing. Maybe that's the same thing. And he kind of touches it. It kind of seems like he's obsessed with it, doesn't it? Like, he keeps touching it, and he keeps fixating on it. It's like a defect that you have on your own flesh that you constantly tick or touch. Like, if you have a scar on your hand, you're going to constantly touch it. And you'll be looking at it just going like that, like, you know? Like, we all have these little tiny imperfections about our body, and we'll end up just touching them or just doing that with it and stuff like that, like, you know? So that could be one. It's possible. An IV, that's the one, yeah. So I think it was mainly to do with him trying to cure whatever the elemental sickness was, the syndrome, whatever it was. It was possibly a way of actually curbing the symptoms. Maybe it was the cure according to him. But he just, when he made himself an Endless, he just decided to bring it along for the ride. Because an Endless wouldn't need that. An Endless doesn't have the syndrome. The Levin sickness. Yeah, an Endless doesn't have Levin sickness. So why have the implant? Maybe it just means... Maybe I'm just jumping down the wrong tree, but maybe it's just a holdover from his... when he was alive. Be interesting, though. It's good to see Aaronville as well in the storyline as well. So I'm glad he's here as well. I have a feeling that for 7.3... the story in regards to Everkeep, Solution 9, Wukalamat, Galul, Jasfine, it's all going to be resolved. I don't think it's going to go beyond that. So I think this is all going to be resolved in 7.3. I have a feeling 7.3 might be a longer story as a result. Maybe he feels safe with the IV inside him. Yeah, I think it's just kind of like, it's like a comforter sort of thing. Like, it ensured that he stayed alive when he was alive back in the day. So now he has it again, just like, this is my comfy, you know. It keeps me alive. It's like with my glasses. Like, I can see with my glasses. And if I don't have my glasses, I'm like, where's my glasses? I need my glasses. And when you have your glasses, you constantly do this and stuff like that. It's kind of like that. It becomes part of your identity when you're wearing it for so long. A reminder who used to be as well. Of better times. I don't think there was better times back then, though, unfortunately. I think they all had a bit of a bad time back in the day, you know? Now, is there anything else I need to go through in that regard? I suppose I'll look through the screenshots to see if there's anything I missed. So, yeah, we've this endless fiend, gone through all that. Sphene when she was sleepy. We still don't know where she was stored. We think she was stored in the mesoterminal in stasis. The fact that she stayed alive for the entire thing is interesting. And she was treated for her 11th sickness as well by Porksy. So she was kept in suspended animation somehow. And that was hundreds of years ago, I think. So it's impressive that she remained in stasis and alive for that long. But perhaps the Endless Fiend's last act was to wake her up. It's interesting though, isn't it? What else? What else? Yeah, so... Yeah, I found this point to be really funny. Do you remember when he struck us with the lightning? So he used all the power of Everkeep in one lightning bolt and struck us with it, trying to kill us. I think that endeared Calyx to me in a lot of ways, because he's not fucking around. He's not going to go, behold, I am the Riddler. I'm going to put you through perpetual torment and then I'm going to kill you. He literally went, right, most practical way of killing this very powerful person. Use all the power I can muster in one lightning bolt and strike him while he's not looking. And to be fair, he was right on target. It's just unfortunate for him we're stronger than he thought, which is why he put us through those trials to try and kill us. But he's very pragmatic. He didn't feck around. He didn't decide to introduce himself. He just decided to try and kill us. Easiest way to get the key back. And notice as well, we didn't actually see the key at all. It's in our possession, as I recall correctly, and Yestola said she is going to study it in 7.3, so she might come across something that we don't know about. She's taking her time to study this key. We should have just gave it to her now and let her study it. I also think Sphene, don't forget, because Thancred and Urianger are currently unavailable to us, as is Estinian. So I think Sphene, she's going to be doing training in healing magic coming up. So I think she's going to take the place in the trust system that Reen did during Shadowbringers. So she's going to be a healer, and she's going to be accompanying us in our future fight against Calyx, wherever it ends up being. We don't exactly know where it's going to be either. It's a curious one. I'm hoping it's going to take us to some sort of past, kind of like, it's going to be like an endless, like an alternate cityscape or something like that. I wouldn't mind if it took us back to the war between Alexandria and Lindrum. I would love to see that, because it's been mentioned numerous times during the story, and I would really love to see it. So I would like if it actually took us back to that point. What else? I'll talk about Hildebrand later. I finally caught up and I did the Hildebrand storyline, and I loved it. I really loved it. I suppose I'll just talk about her now while I'm here. I took a picture of him, didn't I? Yeah, I did. A fascinating character, I have to say. It gave me a new proper appreciation, because the Hildebrand storyline to me has been kind of dragged on for so long that it just felt kind of samey to me, but this one felt really different. And we still don't know whether or not this is actually Hildebrand or not. We think that it's the ninth equivalent of who he is, but it's interesting. I still think it is him, because he's much older. I'd like to think it is him, and he's just gone through a character evolution. But, well, I suppose we'll find out. Now, is there anything else that we need to go through? I do find it interesting that Calyx was able to override the King of Resolve's authority over the city. Generally, like, within moments, Galuja lost all of his ability to actually control everything. So it makes me think that Calyx has been in control the entire time, and Zoralja having his authority was actually just a fake authority. So he had admin access, but there's a super admin above him that he didn't even know existed. So very, very interesting character. I'm still getting weird vibes from his character though, do you know that? Because I think it's his overall design has both masculine and feminine features. I can't really tell, but they refer to him as he, don't they? I think. But I don't know, we don't usually get characters like that. Well, I lie, we do, but not many characters with voice and dialogue and stuff like that. Anything else I need to go through while I'm here? Oh yeah, that's the point I got struck, isn't it? That was funny. I really like that part. Let's see. I don't think there's anything else I need to go through. I was very happy with this fight, now to be honest. Zelenia is a very interesting character as well. It just shows that the Alexandria of this world, of the Ninth Reflection, and the Alexandria that we know from the series are different. A possible reason for the difference is because a different length of time has passed. I suppose that's a good opportunity to talk about something that a lot of people talk about and a lot of people either get correct or incorrect, and it's whether or not a piece of lore in FF14 is canon or not canon. Now, the subject's a bit weird, so I'll try and explain this the best way I can. So, the storyline of FF14's MSQ is canon. It's fully canon. The events that happen in game are canon as well, but what's the best way of saying it? If the storyline doesn't interact directly with the MSQ, it can be considered non-canon. So, maybe I'll try and say this another way. Right, think of other media, or think of other fantasy franchises for a second. So, Star Wars is a great example. So, there's Star Wars, like the movies and the TV shows, which are all canon, and then you have Legends continuity, which is side stories and other things like that. Star Trek is similar as well. Star Trek has Alpha canon, and then Star Trek has Beta canon. So Alpha canon is the main series TV shows, and then some of the other TV shows might not be exactly canon. The cartoons won't be canon, the games won't be canon, but they're set in the same universe. So the TV shows are canon. The Star Trek Online MMORPG is beta canon, so it's not necessarily canon, but is influenced by the events of the Star Trek TV show. Now, FF14 has two primary columns in this point. There's the FF14, and then there's the series. Now, the FF14 story plays along, and it introduces elements from the series in order to tell its own unique tale in FF14. So it brings in elements like the Crystal Tower, different characters from the series, different items from the series, different locations from the series, different names and other things like that. Like Alexandria is a great example. Alexandria existed in Final Fantasy IX, but it doesn't make Final Fantasy IX canon to FF14, if you get my meaning. So they can bring elements from different games in the series into FF14, but they're only then canon for FF14. It doesn't necessarily mean that if you bring the Crystal Tower from Final Fantasy 4 or 5, I think it was 5. You bring it from 5 into 14, it doesn't make Final Fantasy 5 story canon to FF14, but it makes the Crystal Tower canon to the story of FF14 itself. That's how they bring elements from the series into FF14 without making everything very messy. So, now, a lot of the time, side stories are considered not canon to the main story. There's never really been full confirmation, either from Koji Fox or anybody else, in regards to whether or not these things are perfectly canon or perfectly not canon. So my best interpretation of the MSQ versus the side stories and stuff like that is that the moment one of these side stories is referenced in the MSQ, it becomes canon to the main story of Final Fantasy XIV. So, for example, the Crystal Tower was released in 2.1 and brought into the game. It would be technically considered not canon for years up until the release of Shadowbringers. When Shadowbringers released, the Crystal Tower and Grahatia were brought into the main story of the game, and then the Crystal Tower became canon to the story of Final Fantasy XIV, as it featured heavily within the story of Final Fantasy XIV's main story scenario. Like Doctor Who, the TV show is main canon, but the other dramas are also stated as canon until the TV show contradicts them. CC, I'm not going down the Doctor Who timey-wimey, because their canon is a fucking mess. I don't watch the show anymore because it's just gotten so out of hand. But yeah, it's a similar thing. So, a lot of people are under the impression that the Alliance raids and the raids from Final Fantasy XIV are not canon. That's incorrect. They're actually canon. And the reason for that is they've all actually jumped into the MSQ as Event Walker. Do you remember the point where at Endwalker, when we're all standing on the dock in Charlian and everybody shows up with our adamantite and all the other supplies we needed to finish the Ragnarok? Do you remember all of our friends who helped out during those stages? These are all people from the side stories and everything else, and they all show up at the end of the game as well. They all suddenly, all their storylines were all confirmed canon because they all appeared in the MSQ of FF14. So, Return to Ivalice, the Void Ark, Bosja, and all the other storylines that are gone side by side with the MSQ the entire time were all made canon in Endwalker. So they're all being able to be fully recognized in the FSQ of FF14 as of that point. Which is why I've been able to make videos about them and make different theory videos about them. Like my theory video about Ultima being the next big bad. Or something like Ultima being the next big bad. Because Ultima is canon now. Because Return to Ivalice is actually canon. So Ivalice is a kingdom that exists / didn't exist or did exist around the point where Dalmasca is currently right now, or Rabanastre. So Ivalice is an entirely different ball of wax, but Ivalice is canon just to FF14. It doesn't make Final Fantasy Tactics or Tactics Advance or anything else canon. It just took the elements, brought them into 14, and made them canon for Aetheris. So there was a Kingdom of Ivalice in FF14 story in the past. It's just they brought an element from the series and they just made it work. That's how they've been doing it from the beginning. And that's why those things are all canon now. So we're able to use a lot of them as pure canon. So I guess Zarelja doesn't make Aura canon because she told the tale of the Shadow Lord. Okay, so see, the thing is, the kind of divergence between the raids and the main story happened in Heavensward because a lot of people got pissed during A Realm Reborn that major MSQ elements were locked behind the raid series. So you had to defeat Phoenix in order to find out a very important thing about Louis Soir. And I thought that was brilliant, but it's just because of a raider. Somebody who wasn't raiding had to find it out by going onto YouTube and finding it out. So in that regard, a lot of people got upset. Which is why they started to separate these things out. But yeah, Myths of the Realm, which is the 12, is canon. Because it directly interacted with the MSQ and MSQ characters. So we know that's canon. Pandemonium I consider canon. A lot of people wouldn't consider canon, but the Heart of Sabik and La Habrea were both canon characters. And we interacted with them before we interacted with Pandemonium. So Pandemonium, in my mind, is 100% canon. Which is why I can talk about it as well. So it's just a very weird thing at the moment in terms of what is canon, what isn't canon. But a lot of players seem to understand or misunderstand exactly what canon is because, to be fair, the developers don't really do a great job of explaining this sort of thing. This stuff is ignored. It's only lore buffs like you or me that would actually see these sort of lines. And then we have to make our own proper interpretations until a person like Koji Fox actually tells us. And to be fair, Koji Fox has neither confirmed nor denied this. So if there is him putting pen to paper saying that this is the way it is, I've never seen it. I've never seen an interview with him stating as such, and I've never seen it stated on a live letter. To be fair, there's like 70 live letters, so I haven't gone through them all, but I've never seen it mentioned. But it's mainly just to confirm to you guys what is canon, what isn't canon, because I've seen questions come up regarding what is and isn't canon in some of the videos I made, especially my theory videos. So it's mainly just to... Final Fantasy Origins has pocket dimensions that the team goes through. Origins was a great series, I enjoyed it. Dimensions was very good. I enjoyed Dimensions. But there's some things that are not... Like, for example, another great example is Monster Hunter. Don't forget, we had a crossover with Monster Hunter, or we still have a crossover with Monster Hunter, where Rathalos is in Final Fantasy XIV. But Rathalos being in Final Fantasy XIV doesn't make Monster Hunter canon to FF14. It just makes this weird looking dragon canon to FF14 because it just appeared in our world one day and it running around and we had to defeat it. The Rathalos is canon because it's a mysterious being that suddenly popped into our dimension, and to be fair, this happens all the time. Things are popping in and out of our dimension on a regular basis at this point, so it just makes these sort of things normal. They become canon to our story, to the story of the game, when they pop in, but it doesn't make their actual games canon to us. Okay, what else? I think that's everything I wanted to go to regarding canon, at least. But I mainly just wanted to make that distinction, just to make everybody aware of what it actually is at the moment, because it's a subject, as I said, is never properly covered. They never actually come out and talk about this. They leave it in the end up to us because they don't want to deal with it. I can see the developers having a very hard time of what FF14 is at the moment in terms of its storyline. The storyline is very... The storyline started off very solid in 2.0 and 1.0 even. 2.0, it was very solid. It's very, very fragile now because they've introduced so many elements and elements that contradict with each other that it's become a full-time job for people to actually just look at the timeline and just go, you can't introduce this because it's going to interact with this. Wait, we already interacted with this character. And to be fair, the writers are not magicians. They can't remember all this stuff. I can't remember all this. So nobody can remember all this stuff. They need a full team to remember all this stuff. So making mistakes is going to happen, or making things and that are never referenced or described or understood has happened all the time, and they've been called out on it in the likes of FanFest. So yeah, Hildebrand is not canon. According to my interpretation of what is canon and what is not canon, Hildebrand is canon to the game of FF14, but he's not canon to the MSQ. I would have said that Hildebrand was canon to FF14 if he appeared in the MSQ, but he never has. One thing that could have tied him to the MSQ is his father Godbrand, because Godbrand is a member of the Syndicate. However, I've looked at all the Syndicate meetings with Nanamo and everybody else, and Godbrand never appears in those meetings. The other characters do. I did videos on the Syndicate a while ago. Godbrand never, or Godbert, what the hell is his name? Godbert or Godbrand? Whatever his name is. Hildebrand's father is a sitting member of the Syndicate, but you never see him in a Syndicate meeting. If he appeared in a Syndicate meeting, that would make Hildebrand canon to the MSQ, but he never sits in on the meeting. Although the reference is there that he's a member of the Syndicate, so technically that ties him to canon, but it's just never appeared in the actual MSQ. It's appeared in the encyclopedias, which technically makes it canon, but technically doesn't as well, because the encyclopedias have stuff that's not canon as well. Don't we meet Godbert in AAR post MSQ? I don't remember. Did he? Hang on. Maybe this was just a while ago. Oh god, that's too loud. Too loud! Too loud! Too loud! There we go. Okay. 4.2 MSQ. 4.2 MSQ before the dinner, before we take Nanamore around. When Elidibus summoned worse. He, yeah, that's correct. He was kind of like hidden in the background. You never really see him, unless you're looking for him. Did he show up? So, hang on. 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, 4.2. Why do I not remember this? Hancock. No, it's not. It's not this. It's post, isn't it? It's post Stormblood. Oh, it's post Stormblood. Yeah. So that's 1, 2, 3. I'm assuming it's around here somewhere. Sahi, fruits of our labor. Oh. Yeah, I remember this point where she interacts with Raubon. When was this? I can't remember this. Let's see. The locations, because I can remember Nano interacting with in post Stormblood, early post Stormblood, around the Madkin's Trove. And this point, the Sultana Strings. Yeah, so it's around this point. Speak with Hancock and Kane, Namo and Ulda. Speak with Nano. Maybe it's here. I don't know. Let's have a look. No, this is when she interacts with yeah,
A personal
Asshole,
summons from
Lolorito.
the Scions. This must be important business indeed.
Yeah, so Lolorito, he's a syndicate member, but that's not the interaction we're talking about. I do not remember this interaction. Is it here? Big Brother Pro 2, Big Nanomo. It's probably 4.1 is Sultana's duty. Is it here? Is this the one? Oh, no way. Right, let me go. So 4.1 a Sultana's. Oh, it's something that doesn't have a cutscene, is it? Because the Unending Journey doesn't show us all the quests. It only shows the quests that have cutscenes. Or it only shows us quests that have, well, what you call proper cutscenes. A lot of cutscenes we don't have access to anymore. Right, complete. Sultana's duty. So we can't access anymore. Damn it. I'm assuming somebody uploaded this. Do you know that? I'm assuming somebody uploaded it. Right, so FF14 patch 4.1 Sultana's duty, if I can spell properly. So somebody must have done it at some point. So okay. YOLO, thank you for uploading this, by the way. See, this is all stuff we don't have access to anymore. In the journal, you have access to. This is why I record so much, because we lose access to little things like this. So this is probably something we don't have access to anymore. Which, okay. Now I remember this. Okay. See, it's a cutscene that we just don't have access to anymore. Okay. Right. So. Right, so according to how canon works, that would make Godbert canon to the MSQ because he appeared in it. And he has a son and he appears in that, so that technically makes Hildebrand canon. Yeah, I would say that. The fact that he appears in the MSQ and tied to the MSQ and he's his father, that is canon. Yeah, that's Hildebrand is canon in my interpretation of what canon is. Because he's canon, it makes everything else canon. Yeah, I'd say Hildebrand is actually canon at that point. He's never mentioned in the MSQ, but he doesn't really need to be because he never really comes up in that fashion. He's usually doing other things. He's never come up because it's just never a subject we need to interact with. But that would make him canon in my eyes. So yeah, I'm happy with that. Very nice catch. I completely forgot about that. But yeah, it affects other characters as well. Somebody mentioned there, poor Silva, poor Unukalhai. So much impact were reduced to B tier Hori Boulder tier Scion, but for the voice story due to unlock requirements. Now, to be fair, Lunatic, they tried to squeeze it into the MSQ with the dialogue at the end about us telling Zero about them. They're canon because we told Zero about them. They're canon now. The issue is, in my opinion, Square Enix dropped the ball by segregating Unukalhai and Silva to the point that they couldn't introduce them into the MSQ because they should have. In my mind, when I was playing through all the storylines with Zero, I was screaming the entire time, and you've probably seen me in some of my playthroughs, Why aren't we just going to Silver or Unicalhide to help us out with this shit? He can literally open void gates on his own. But they're just outside the canon and they just can't introduce it because they're locked behind their own storyline that people haven't unlocked or either just never unlock at all. It's frustrating. It's something they have to address at some point. If we're going to come back to the voids, I think they're going to be made requirements in order to continue the MSQ. And they'll have to do it in some way. I'm not really sure how they're going to do it, but they really need to, or they might just need to reintroduce them. So they'll have the storylines there, separated, but then they'll just introduce them in the MSQ just going, do you remember Unicalhide? So they'll have an entire cutscene dedicated to both of these characters, highlighting exactly who they are. So if you haven't done the storyline with Unicalhide and Silva yet, yeah, tough nuggies. They need to be introduced because they really should have been part of the MSQ ages ago. The fact that they were left on the cutting room floor for that entire Void Act storyline, I'll be honest, it pissed me off, the fact that they were left there. I was screaming the entire time. They need... I mean, Zero and Golbez need allies. They already have 2 more that are literally there. They could literally come over to the Void right at that point and help them. It pissed me off to no end. Maybe they'll do just like they did with Graha and 5.0 before CT was made mandatory, just fully introduced. Yeah, I think they have to do it at that point, because leaving them there makes no sense. Because we left their storyline at the point that they wanted to go and reclaim their world. And we literally went through this entire storyline of reclaiming their world and we didn't even reference them until just one point at the very end of the story. And it annoyed the hell out of me. Is anyone weirded out that it did not show a passage of time when we went back to the first? The first had a faster timeline than the source. However, they kind of reached a point of normality. But the issue is, I've mentioned this before, Max. Passage of time in FF14 is a pretty weird sort of thing. Other MMOs will show a passage of time with their characters and their actions and stuff like that. FF14 doesn't show us a passage of time. It's really left up to our own interpretation. It's kind of like Pokemon, in that you don't show the characters growing up, you don't see anything changing. The only way we actually know time is actually traversing forward is because of the actions we're taking. It's weird. But yeah, the first is just it's a subject to the requirements of the fact that this is an MMORPG that players are playing. It's just the nature of what it is. But I have a feeling I've mentioned this before and I've made videos on it, that I think we're going to get a time skip at some point. I was expecting the time skip in Dawn Trail, to be perfectly honest. We didn't get it. But I think a time skip is going to come in at some point to allow the story to be able to progress on normally. They don't want to remodel them or cast a new one. That's also a good thing. Like, making time go forward even a few years would require a change to every character in the game, which is why they can't do it easily. I mean, the twins would grow even taller, their voices might change, all the characters would get older, your Stolen might get weaker, and all the other characters would just progress and grow. Like, there's kids that are running around that would suddenly be adults. There's adults that are suddenly going to be elderly, like, depending on how many years change. I mean, they could do a targeted change that most of the other back characters wouldn't change, but they have to change the entire landscape of FF14. They can't just leave NPCs where they are. They'd have to change all NPCs and positionals around the world, and quests would probably change as well as a result. It's not an easy thing for them to do. But I assume they're thinking about it, but it's just how you do it is just going to be the hard part. Yeah, I haven't played World of Warcraft in a long time, but I think they do have a passage of time. They show it in their main story. It has been a few years. I'd say definitely it's been a few years since, because there has been... I think the main jumps in time we see are between one expansion and the next, but sometimes there's no even jump at all. The Dawn Trail expansion is a prime example, we ended 6.55 or whatever it was by, okay, we're gonna follow Wookelmad over to Toral, meet us at the dock, and then we met her at the dock. So there was no change in time at that point. A growth spurt of an Elizin for just 1-2 years. Yeah. And to be fair, they should have grown up by now. I mean, they've done a great job of showing the changes in maturity of characters by changes in outfits, changes in powers, changes in attitude, and changes in personality. The twins are a great example. The twins were both pretty much the same character in 2.0. Then they diverged and took their own paths, and we showed their maturity due to their experiences. We just don't see them age, but we do see them mature. So we, just on that vein, we don't see any of the characters age, but we do see them mature. That's the best way of putting it. Now, is there anything else I wanted to go through? I always end up at this stage where I'm just like, is there anything else I want to go through? And I'm just like, I don't know. Yeah, I was going to make a video on this as well, but I don't think I'm going to do it anymore. You might remember I made a video comparing Final Fantasy IX's Alexandria to FF14's Alexandria, and there were certain things that were pointed out to me that are different and are not different. Now, we don't really know how interdimensional fusion works. We don't know whether it's targeted or whether or not it's dependent on what's happening. So, interdimensional travel, for example, is very weird. Like, do you remember when we... Oh, what's the best way of putting this? So, I need to look at the world map. So, interdimensional fusion is still a subject in the air because it's still current in the story. I think on the ninth reflection, the continents are actually laid out the same on the ninth reflection as they are on the source. It's a mirror of the source. I think this is where Alexandria actually was, and when interdimensional fusion took place, it ended up at this point because it was at the same location as it is on the source. So whatever this continent is on the ninth reflection, this is where Alexandria is actually located on their world. Now, I was looking at some of the differences between Castle Alexandria in FF14 and Castle Alexandria on Final Fantasy IX. And I did see a few differences, especially in when we were going through Underkeep, for example, and Shale was talking to us about the construction of Everkeep, as you see here. It was apparently a constant battle against the rising water levels. That made the overall layout of the actual Kingdom of Alexandria in 9 compared to 14 very different, because in Final Fantasy IX, it's probably better to show you, do you know that? FF9 Alexandria. The castle looks very different, of course, first off, but I'm just looking for yeah, there we go. Although, now that you look at it, so this is Castle Alexandria in Final Fantasy IX. It's right beside a giant lake, and then it has a river going through here, and then a sheer cliff. We don't really see this in Alexandria, the one we see, even in the memory one. But now that you look at that, the fact that there's a water level here is... But why would the water level be rising? Did this whole thing turn into a floodplain? Because I'd imagine all this water would just spill off the cliff. So, was this water level just rising or something? Did the land sink? Possibly. So maybe that's a reason. Or maybe it's just I'm reading too much into it. Maybe this is just... It just flooded because they made an entire thing around it. Maybe it rained constantly, for example, and the rising water levels just threatened the build, so they constantly had to empty it out. Maybe that's the reason they said there was a constant threat of the rising water level, because there's constantly thunderclouds overhead. Makes sense it would be accompanied by constant amounts of rain, perhaps. So maybe that's the reason. I'd like to think that FF14's Alexandria sat on a landmass similar to what you see here with the Alexandria in Final Fantasy IX. I think it makes much more sense to me. The castle is very different. It's like it's much larger in Final Fantasy IX compared to FF14. But Castle Alexandria did have a unique nature due to Final Fantasy IX anyway, because it's partly where Alexandria was as well. Right, that's it for that. Right, I don't think there's anything else. Is there anything in the MSQ you want to ask, though? Just ask away in there while I just look at the last screenshots here. I'm still of the opinion that she is a freaking cutie. Look at her. She's freaking adorable. Look at that. Like, she's probably one of the most adorable Lalfels I've ever seen. Very great character. I love her art. Like, I took a picture of her art as soon as I saw it, because look at her artwork. It's so cool. I really like her artwork. I bet it glows in the dark as well, which is really cool. And she's the Banksy of FF14, if it makes sense. Like, they say a lot of the artwork around Solution 9 is actually hers. I want to actually have a look real quick, because we see a lot of the electro art, which is like neon lights and stuff like that, but I don't remember ever looking at the artwork. I think it would be around True View. So let's go over to True View real quick and just have a look. Where do you think the heavyweight fights will take us? I don't think they're really going to take us anywhere. I think we're going to stay within the confines of the Arcadion. They might bring us out for some sort of external match. But I don't think they have a reason to take us anywhere else. The Electro Arena makes custom stages for us. Like, the Brute Bomber was a one-off because the guy went freaking postal and we ended up on the lower level of Everkeep. Oh, themes are beasts, sorry. Oh, I mentioned it earlier. I think a behemoth is definitely in our future. So if you think about it, we've seen some of the big threats and quirky ones as well. A behemoth for heavyweights, I think a behemoth is definitely one of the monsters we're definitely going to see. But they've already shown that multiple creatures, like, the only requirement is these creatures have a soul. And all creatures do. So Behemoth is first. They have to be feral souls as well, because they want unique transformations. So it has to be people like that. It's entirely possible that they might use a powerful soul from a powerful hero in the past or something. I don't know. But yeah, I really can't picture anything except a behemoth. A behemoth is definitely the one I'm looking at. I'm just going, that would be really cool. So yeah, this doesn't look like her style. Neither do any of these. And this guy's painting whatever this is. I mean, I guess that could be her style. I just don't know. Yeah, and Eutrope was an Ixion. So, an Ixion, a behemoth. What's another big character? I can't picture them off the top of my mind. A Tyral Vidral is a great example. So, if they find souls of Tyral Vidrals, a creature that's lived for 1,000 years, that's the requirement to be in a Tyral Vidral or something like that. It's like one of the aspects, or the auspices, sorry. Let me look through the encyclopedia just so I can get some ideas, because there's no real requirement. We've already seen, what was Howling Blades again? It was a Fenrir, wasn't it? Was his a Fenrir? I'm fairly sure it was a Fenrir. Yeah, I think it was a Fenrir. I wouldn't discount a Gubu. I would love to see a Gubu. Imagine what a Gubu would be. A Gubu would be a very interesting character. Yeah, Fenrir. FF9 Fenrir. Okay. Yeah, a Gubu. Where would they get access to a dragon? They'd have to, unless they. Well, dragons only exist on one place. Dragons only exist on Aetheris. Anything but another AAR Primals variants. I've had enough. I don't think you're gonna get one of those. Primals don't count. They don't have souls. I mean, a dragon would be cool. But where would they get one? I mean, alright, think about this for a second, right? No, hang on. Think back to 7.0. Dragons did appear on above the skies of Tuliolal. Vitra brought over remnants of. It wasn't his brood. It wasn't Vitra's brood. It was his sister's brood. And her sister's name was her deceased sister that died during the Dragonstorm War, or the beginning of it. What the hell was her name? Oh, no, it's not Asdaya. She doesn't have any siblings. Or she doesn't have any children. Oh, it's her other sister, Radatoskr. Thank you, Radatoskr. Yeah, so the children that accompanied Vitra over were Radatoskr's children by the coloration. So it's entirely possible one of those dragons was captured, shot down in the conflict. So maybe that's how they got access to a feral soul like that. It could be a contraband soul. I mean, it would piss us off if we saw that. But they tried to get unique souls from a lot of different places. We don't even know where they got these souls. So it's entirely possible that's how they could have got their hands on a dragon. So, yeah, a dragon would actually be a good possibility. Odin doesn't exist. In FF14, Odin doesn't exist. Odin is the sword. Don't forget. Odin appearing in the Black Shroud is all to do with Zantkatsuken, the sword. The sword takes over the mind of whoever's wielding it and allows Odin to appear. So when you're fighting Odin in the Black Shroud, you're not fighting the guy on horseback. You're fighting the sword with a manifestation of a guy on horseback. So I don't think that counts either, because he's a primal and primals don't have souls. So what else? A chimera would be interesting. Because chimeras are very unique creatures, but you only find chimera in Eorzea, because they're creations of the Elegants. Behemoth is a definite. I think definitely a behemoth is in the cards. Because if you're going bigger than a Fenrir, something along the lines of an Ixion, a behemoth is definitely the one you're going for. So that's the first one. We've already seen a Morbol, we've already seen an Ochu, an ancient Ochu at that. Yeah, the third one that Brute Annihilator turned into was a Belladonna, so we've already seen a Belladonna as well. What about a Kraken? We've seen a couple of Krakens, and they're usually very powerful creatures that we either have to drive away or try and kill. The last Kraken we fought in the Aether Font, we didn't kill it, we had to drive it away. Kraken would be a very powerful creature to fight. It would make an interesting fight as well. It sounds very Leviathan-like, but a Kraken is a possibility. It would make for a unique fight, a unique elemental fight as well with water. Water and electricity, you know, good mix. So Behemoth, Kraken. What else? A Griffin? That's Sorry Surge. Yes, you're right. I said it months ago. I wanted somebody to show up with Chocobo. But they don't have Chocobos in Tural. That's the one thing. They don't have Chocobos. Or do they have Chocobos? No, they don't have Chocobos. They have... What the hell do they have again? They have the... Do they have Chocobos? Hang on. Maybe I'm overthinking this. Llamas. Yeah, they have llamas. Think about it with me for a second. Do you remember seeing a chocobo anywhere in Tyrol? But that's not to say that... That's not to say that the Ninth Reflection didn't have chocobos. Maybe the Ninth Reflection had chocobos. You just don't see chocobos in active use around Solution 9 because they have motorbikes. They don't need chocobo. Maybe they had chocobos in the 9th. Yeah, so I'll add chocobos to the list. So Behemoth, Kraken, chocobo. So we've already got... I'd say that's probably a non-elemental fight for the Behemoth. Water fight for the Kraken. God, I don't know, for the chocobo. What else? What else have we got? A ghost type. A void scent? Do you know? They're technically, they are a soul. Void scent have a soul. One getting trapped here and used is not outside the realm of possibility. We've already seen a Cyclops because of Annihilator. He used 4 different souls. I guess they assumed those were souls that weren't worth their own individual fights, but then again, we got a pudding, so... A fragmented Ascian soul. No, that's Ascian Prime. We're just gonna get a weird looking Ascian Prime. No, I'm not for that, sorry. A Forgekin doesn't work because they don't have souls. A Soulkin. I mean, a Spriggan would be amazing. Well, Max, Chocobo is an avian creature. If not a Chocobo, then a Griffin. So a Chocobo or a Griffin would be a very good one. Well, we still don't know who's the 9th Asm incarnation is. It's entirely possible the president of the Arcadion is actually... is probably us. Maybe that's why they said familiar voice. That's actually us. That's another theory to add, right? So if it's not Matem, it's actually our incarnation on the Ninth Reflection. And it'll turn up and it's actually a picture of us. So a doppelganger of us is going to show up as the president. But then again, Utro probably would have said we looked familiar. We already seen Coral in main MSQ. Yeah, we've already seen a Coral, something like that. A Void Scent does sound interesting. Like, what about a Mind Flayer? A Mind Flayer soul? But then again, it's just a Void Scent soul with a... would it work? Would it work? Would it work? Would it? The answer is I don't know. No, we've seen enough Diablos, Max, to be honest. We've seen enough Diablos to last us a lifetime. Chimeras don't work because they're a Passai. Fuck off. No, we're not doing with Passai. Don't drive me nuts. Let me fly around to see if I can get any ideas from Tyrol. Maybe we'll start at Heritage Found, right? Is there anything nearby that we can actually see? A Passai. Do you imagine a giant guy with a oh god, no. Would that make... Would you count a Moogle as a feral soul? I mean, technically, yeah. Because they're not humanoid. I think anything that's not humanoid is considered a feral soul. It's possible. It's not outside the realm of possibility, but there's no Moogles in Tyrol either. But Final Fantasy IX had Moogles. It's entirely possible that the Alexandria had Moogles as well. We never saw Moogles on the first. Yeah. I mean, I think we're getting drawn off by the heavyweight theme. We think heavyweight and we think big, muscular, kind of macho. I think they're going to be kind of like weird looking characters, like elegant characters as well. Like, think of Eutrope. Eutrope is a fairly elegant character. It's a lady with Ixion features, and she does have a very elegant look. She just has a lot of power behind it. So we don't have to think very brutish. We can think very elegant as well. So I think depending on the power of the soul in question, if it's a powerful feral soul, like a Moogle soul can be very powerful. It might be a very dense soul. Don't forget, souls on Aetheris are 9 times denser. So Wicked Thunder, more like a wicked waifu. NPC, don't go there. No, don't be one of them. Don't waifu this. No, don't go. You can't slay your wife. Don't do that. No. A Kraken sounds amazing. A Cthulhu kind of enemy, exactly. Oh, that sounds really good to me. I think definitely though Behemoth is definitely one. I think they have to give us a Behemoth. Siren is a good point, because Siren's not a primal or anything else. We've only seen, well, we've seen 2 Sirens, I think. We saw one in Lunacia, and we saw another, I think it was either in Bosja or something like Bosja. Eureka, maybe, I think. I think they're the main 2 ones we saw, so if they had a Siren, that would have been a good one. We already seen an Cyclops. That explains where they got the Cyclops souls from. A Scalekin. Maybe a Vinegaron would have been cool. So it looks like a giant T-Rex. Like a T-Rex would have been cool, wouldn't it? We do have T-Rex-like things, like the Vinegaroons. A Woolback would have been cool. Yeah, Woolback would have been cool. I don't think they will ever do a spider for phobia reasons. You know, Max, I think you're right about that, and it annoys me. I know people are scared of some things like that, and some people get triggered by other things. Like, I don't have a fear of clowns, but if I saw one that looked like a clown, I'd probably get very intimidated by it. Like, clowns don't scare me, they just creep me out. Yeah, first boss of Weeping City is kind of like a spider. Yeah. But imagine like a demon clown or something. That'd be creepy as fuck. A snake, actually, now that you think about it, because we were looking at Scalekin, yeah. A python might be cool. The Great Serpent of Tural's offspring. Oh, fuck. No, I'm not fighting. That could be a good fight, though. Although we've already fought the Greatest Serpent of Tural, so maybe not. A python might be good, though. A python might be the ticket. Stop biting me. Yeah, a python could be cool. Okay, now I'm starting to see the picture. Right, so take a look, right? So these are the ancient Alexandrian walls, right? And the picture of Alexandria, like you see... I lost it. Shit. I lost it. I lost it. Oh, there it is. Yeah, the ancient Alexandrian walls going around, and then you have the lake. So they did interpret it very well, didn't they? And we assume that's where the Lindrum bomb landed. Armadillo with a mace flail. The armadillos from Underkeep might be a good example because they're carrying electro canisters in their tail thing. That could be a good one. Yeah, we've got some good guesses. A Sasquatch. I can't even remember a Sasquatch. What's a Sasquatch look like again? Yeah. Sasquatch. Yeah, we have Sasquatch, don't we? Oh, they're gorillas. I suppose a gorilla could work. Where would they get a gorilla, though? Do they have gorillas in... I suppose it would be Yachtel. Do they have gorillas? Do they have access to gorillas? Gorilla would be cool. Although, it might look a bit boring. I think they're kind of looking for flashing, but in terms of power and what you're looking for, gorilla would definitely be one of them. Do they have gorillas though? Monkey. Rip Harambe. No, Machinist versus Harambe. That's going too far. Harambe. No, Harambe. Oh, poor Harambe. A rabbit. Or one of these frickin' things. Squirrel. That would be cute. Like, with the right female character and one of these, you might get something really cute. Do we have these in the rest of the game? Or are these in... Oh, it's a flying squirrel, yeah. So a flying squirrel combined with somebody, that would be cool. Yeah, we don't know what Zeralja actually used. We're under the impression Zeralja used feral souls, right? But I think it's like, if you use smaller feral souls or lower kind of density, they don't actually manifest physical changes in you, like what Zeralja did with his first one. But if you use a lot more of them or higher powered ones, you get the physical changes. Mamulja Bath Dance the Fight. That's a bad mental image. No. Down the cenote. I don't see anything else. Honestly, I can't think of anything else. I'm still sticking to Behemoth, Kraken, Chocobo / Griffin, and Python. Those are my 4 picks. So we'll see now in 4 months. Is it 4 months? We had 4.5 months between 7.1 and 7.2, so we have 4 months to wait. No, sorry, because it's Arcadion. We have to wait 8.5 months. Ugh. 8.5 months sounds like a freaking lifetime. Oh my god. Post NA FanFest. Will, do not give me hope. They better announce FanFest soon. I really want FanFest as an announcement. I know we're probably not going to get it until around 7.3, but I really want it. But 8.5 months is a long wait. We only have to wait 4 months until the MSQ is done though, so that's good. We get the new Alliance raid as well. I've never really gone over it though. I've never really gone over it on any of my streams. Well, what did everybody think of the Alliance raid storyline? The what was this name again? I can't remember its name off the top of my head. I'm horrible with names. Yeah, what do you call it? Ugh. What the hell do you call the bloody storyline again? What do you call it? What the hell was its name? Echoes of Vanodil, thank you. Jesus. That name just dropped out of my head. I just couldn't remember anymore. Yeah, Echoes of Vanodil, thank you. I'm interested to hear what everybody thought about Echoes of Vanodil. I only played 11 for a bit, so I'll be honest, I didn't really understand everything that they were going for. I think it's like the Nier Alliance raids. It really only makes sense to the people who played Nier. I never played Nier, so I didn't understand everything that was going on. So that storyline kind of passed me by. It's like when I went to go to the Nier orchestra concert, I didn't get what everybody else was getting on about. So I'll tell that story while I'm here, right? So when we played the Nier games, when we played the Nier Alliance raids, I didn't really understand it. Then in London, it was announced that the Nier is coming to an orchestra concert. So being the admin of the Fan Events Discord, a lot of my friends were going as well. A lot of the members were going, so we all went. And even though I'd never played the Nier games, I went as well. I was so exhausted by that point when we're sitting down listening to music. I wasn't getting the same impact as everybody else was getting from the music. And I'll be fair, sitting in the seat, and because I didn't understand the songs that were coming up, even though they were great songs, I was literally falling asleep in my chair. I was literally doing this the entire time. I was just so exhausted. And it's just like, my head's just going, oh no. The guy beside me must have been like, is this guy falling asleep? It was so funny. But yeah, I kind of get this with Echoes of Vanadale as well, is that I have a basic understanding about who these people are, but I don't have a full understanding, which means that a lot of these lore things are escaping me, like Juno, the city Juno that we encounter. I can get some elements of it based on the times I did play, but I didn't understand all of it. But yeah, I did get a basic grasp of it, so I did have that. But for somebody who's never even played or even looked at anything related to Final Fantasy XI before, it might just go over your head entirely. So I think the storyline is probably a lot less favorably received, which I think is why they tied it to certain elements of the FF14 storyline rather than fully exploring Final Fantasy XI, which is why the fact that Garul Jaja's Shade is in it is brilliant, because eventually in either 7.3 or 7.5 we're gonna fight the Shade at full power again, and probably even more hooked up. So we might get an honest, proper fight with Galul Jaja. That said, it's entirely possible Galul Jaja is going to be a trial for us as well, because we did technically have a trial fight with him, so it's entirely possible we're going to get a Minstrel's Ballad Galul Jaja fight at some point. So the Vanadale raid was cool to me. I liked the fights were great, and the characters and all were pretty cool as well. The Shadow Lord I didn't understand because I didn't get that far in Final Fantasy XI. I was a young man back then when I played 11, to be honest. This was a long time ago. I was still in school, I think, or I was just getting, I think I was actually just going into college or something when 11 was out. But yeah, they were interesting fights. It's just that they just didn't really resonate with me as much. Also, does anybody else get very Final Fantasy X vibes from this forest at night? Does anybody else get Macalania Forest vibes from Yaktel at night? I get, like, especially when I look at this scene, I get severe Macalania Forest vibes from that, and all of this other stuff. It tickles that part of my FF10 universe sort of thing. I really liked it. I really liked playing through the zone as well. But no. Are these banana trees again? I can't remember what they're called. But yeah, I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to go through. And we've gone through a couple of hours of stream now, so it's not too bad. At least I didn't finish on a sad note. She's still so cute. I can't get over how cute she is. Yeah, you see her here. She's like, yeah. Is there anything else I missed? Anything else I didn't go through? Anything else I've forgotten? I've already gone through him. I've already gone through those. And yeah, as I've already said, I already caught up with the Hildebrand storyline. So I loved it. I wonder if we'll get FF10 references more. It's actually a video I'm going to work on. I've actually started... I've been passively researching what enemies we actually haven't gotten in Final Fantasy XIV from the series. So I may as well go over some of it now, actually. I think this is the last part of the stream I'll do. And then I'll call it a night there. So... we've gotten a lot of... I might have missed it. What is your favorite music this raid tier? My favorite music this raid tier. I did like Sugar Rush's music. Her music was very good. Yes, her music was very good. Utro's music was pretty banger, to be honest. The Queen's Fiend one, the Queen's Burden one was pretty good as well. I enjoyed that. I can't remember exactly what it's called though. But yeah, those are my favorites. Something that can make everything out of lightning. It kind of sounds like a bar got invented, doesn't it? Yeah. Howling Blade is very good. I haven't listened to it as much as I should, to be honest, but its lyrics are very good. I really enjoyed the Howling Blade's music as well. The lyrics of it have especially gotten to me. The disco music was pretty good as well. I like the fact that the disco music ties into the abilities he's using as well. So I really like that aspect. I'll be honest, I can't really remember Brute Abominator's song. It's a lot of noise, in my opinion. It's not my cup of tea, so I think it kind of just goes in one ear and out the other, if you get my drift. Wait, what was I saying again? Oh, yeah, sorry. So... in the entire span of Final Fantasy XIV, we've gotten enemies and antagonists from the series added to the game for us to fight. We had Kefka, we had Golbez, we had... what's his face? The tree guy. What the hell's the tree guy's name? Jesus Christ, I should remember this name. Oh! What? Chaos? OG Chaos? Yeah. What's his bloody name? The tree. What's the fucking Lunarian's name again? It'll come back to me and it's so stupid. I know what his name is. The Lunarian guy's name from 4. What's his name? The tree guy from Omega. What the hell's his name again? Shit. Can't remember his name. For the bloody life of me. No, that's not Golbez. It's the other one. It's the other guy who looks like Golbez. Oh, fuck, what's his name? It's Delta Escape 4, isn't it? X-Death, that's it. Yeah, X-Death. Sorry. X-Death, the tree guy. The guy who's the tree. It's X-Death, yeah. So X-Death is the other one. And we've gotten a lot of other bosses as well from the series, but there's a lot of bosses that we still haven't gotten from the series. But to be fair, there's bosses from the series that would not fit well into Final Fantasy XIV. So, for me personally, I can't picture Sephiroth in Final Fantasy XIV. Like, the OG Sephiroth, like the human form Sephiroth with the giant sword. Masamune or Muramasa? It's Masamune. I can't picture Sephiroth with Masamune as an average fight in Final Fantasy XIV because Sephiroth is just a really powerful looking character that doesn't get very lent well to a fight where it's just like him just attacking us and then just doing random stuff. He's a very fast-paced character that if you slow him down and he's just wandering around just doing this, it's not Sephiroth in my mind. Like, we've played Rebirth. We know what Sephiroth's supposed to be. He's a very fast, very aggressive, very dangerous, powerful character. Slowing him down is not going to work. However, the other versions of Sephiroth, the other versions, the One-Winged Angel version, his One-Winged Angel version would be perfect for Final Fantasy XIV. So adding him in like that would be great. That's an example of a Sephiroth that would work. We've already got Cloud of Darkness. Final Fantasy III was the Emperor of Palamecia, whatever the hell his name is. I think he's just called the Emperor of Palamecia, isn't he? Yeah, the Emperor of Palamecia is something that would work, but we kind of have a million characters like that, so why would Ultimecia be a no? Ultimecia is a nice character. I like Ultimecia. She's a very unique character with a particular emphasis on time as well, time compression. I think she'd make an interesting fight, but again, we have had other fights like her, so Ultimecia might be a no as well. Sin would be a great fight, but how would you add Sin in? Like, I'd love a gigantic character where you're fighting on the back of Sin and then you're fighting inside him. That would be cool. A multi-tiered fight like that would be cool, similar to what you get in the series, or when we were on an airship. Because we've had airship fights against the weapon series, so that would be cool. Final Fantasy IX. Well, to be fair, we kind of already got Final Fantasy IX's boss already. What's his name again? I know Kuja, but never mind Kuja. The other guy's name, the death guy. The guy at the end of all things. What the hell is his name? Final boss. Necron, yeah. But we already technically really got Necron because Endsinger kind of took Necron's place, and we've seen other references to kind of Necron-like beings, like with Queen's Burden. So Necron would be a great character though. Like, he might fit into the Void series. Like, if we went back to the Void and we were fighting other characters, Necron might be a great character to fight during the Void. But we've kind of already got reference to him in other bosses. Like, inspiration's been taken from him to use in other characters. I feel like Necron will be a byproduct of the fear of death from the Solution 9 people. That's entirely possible as well. So the door kind of is open for a Necron appearance. We might get a primal fight out of him. You never know. So that could be cool as well. The only way he really showed up in the series was with destroying the Crystal of Life, which makes sense. But he can't die. But I'd say he's something entirely different now. Maybe it could be a facsimile of Necron. You never know. Final Fantasy VIII is Ultimecia. Idea. Kind of. There's not really else from Final Fantasy VIII that I can think about, to be honest. Like, it has lots of great fights, but none of them I can really think of. Like, a sorceress would be cool. Final Fantasy XIII. Final Fantasy XIII is a good candidate for particular bosses, like the what's his name? The big guy at the end, the prime are they Falsi or Lassie? Lassie are the characters, aren't they? Falsi are the big guys, aren't they? The Falsi. So the big Falsi at the end might be a possibility. Civilization's fairly similar to what Final Fantasy Alexandria is in Final Fantasy XIV. Could be a character that you can introduce as well. Orphan, that's the one. Orphan, thank you. It's been, to be honest, it's been a while since I played 13 as well. I only really played 13 once in a full playthrough. Although, if I was going to think about enemies that would appear from the series next in Final Fantasy XIV, my answer would be Ultima. Because even though I never mentioned it in my Ultima video, Ultimate was a big inspiration for me to make that video because, in my opinion, he was a fucking cool character. He was just very like, you're dead, like I'm the ruler. You like he was very blunt. I love the fact that he was very blunt, but he was very powerful about it, what he was doing as well, and very manipulative. So Ultima and the creatures that go along with him would be really cool, although I can kind of see the Asian influence on the character of Ultima because they come after the characters of 14, of course, chronologically anyway. Could be a cool character to introduce because I found the fight to be really good and the character itself was really good, so Ultima is a great example of another fight that could come in as well. What else? What other games was there? We've already gone through 10. 11 is... We're probably going to get other enemies from 11 in the Echoes of Vana'diel storyline, so we don't really need to go into that. 12. We've really gotten a lot of 12 in the Return to Evil series already. And to be fair, 12's final boss is fucking stupid. What was 12's final boss? It was Zane, wasn't it? Zane empowered by what was her name? Vanna? Yeah, so a Vanna powered Zane. I remember playing through Final Fantasy 12 for the first time, and when I got to Zane empowered by Vanna, I didn't struggle in the slightest. I found the fight to be very underwhelming, and I was like, is this it? I fought all the way through for this piece of shit, and he was barely doing anything to me. Like, I never lost a character. I barely dipped in HP. I can still remember that all these years later. It's just like, that did not deserve to be the final fight. Fuck that. So I won't want to see him. We already have a Vanna, so we don't need her. There is other fights in the actual game itself that would be cool, but we did get a lot of them in Return to Evil, so not particularly. Okay, so 13 we've already gone through. 15. I still haven't played 15, to be honest. I tried. I'm sorry. I tried to play 15 again. It just bored me. By the time I got to the open world, it bored me. I'm sorry. I like my Final Fantasy games to keep me on a track. Like 16 put me on a track and I rolled along. 15 asking me to do open world shit when I was just like not interested. I was just like, no, I don't want to. I like my Final Fantasy games to have a track. I only want open world in 14 and it's not even open world. I'm sorry. I know there's people here who love 15, but I just couldn't get into it because it was the story itself interested me. It was the gameplay that pissed me off. I still need to play 15 because whenever its music comes up in Distant Worlds, it's some of the songs I recognize, but the others I don't. So I really need to play it. Like, I played 16 over Christmas. I binged it for like 50 hours and played the entirety of Final Fantasy 16, and I loved it. But I just can't bring myself to play 15. I'm sorry. That brings me to something else, actually. Back to our discussion on canon regarding series and non-series games. 15 is very unique for one primary reason. It has quest crossovers with races from both games. So, for example, there is a crossover with 15. As we know, Noctis gets trapped in our world with a broken down car, and we help him out, and then he goes wherever he ends up going. But 15 has a crossover with a Mikote from Final Fantasy 14. So technically, the games are kind of linked together more than any of the other series games are linked together, because a character from 14 appeared in Final Fantasy 15, but it's not, as far as I'm aware, it's not a main story character. It's just a made-up character, a Mikote, in a basic outfit, if I recall correctly. But they do have more of a link than all the other games because of that crossover. I mean, there's a sword from 14 in 16, Which sword? Which sword is from 14 to 16? I think I know the one you're talking about. I think I know the one you're talking about. Cortana, yes, sorry, yeah. Cortana is not unique to 14 though. I think the design is based upon it, but I think Cortana has actually appeared in the series before, if I recall correctly. Yeah. FF16 Cortana. Oh yeah, it is. It's the style of 14. Yeah, it's exactly like but it's only appeared in 11, 14, and 16, and the side games. So, oh, it's in the Rising Tide. Sorry, I haven't played the DLC. I keep meaning to buy it, but if it's in the DLC, that's why I don't recognize it. Okay, that's interesting. Who wields it? I'm assuming it's gonna be. It looks like a. I'm gonna assume that. Oh my god, why can't I remember his name? I'm assuming the main character wields it, but it's not a two-handed sword. I don't remember his name. Clive, sorry. I'm fucking horrible with names today. Jesus Christ. Okay, I'm very horrible with names. Thank you, Will, for correcting me every second. I'm assuming he wields it, right? Yeah, okay. Oh, it's large. Oh, it's very large. Okay. But yeah, it's Cortana. It's Cortana. Definitely. Makes sense. It's the same developer. They're naturally going to bring Sunmount over, primarily for the fans. So, that's cool though. I like that. I do like that. I am hoping for a second DLC. I doubt we're going to get it, but I don't like the way 16 ended. I'm not going to say anymore, but I don't like the way 16 ended. Leaving it on a cliffhanger like that for the people to interpret it is not my Final Fantasy. My Final Fantasy is laid out and you give us the proper ending. You don't give me a is he or is he not category. That's not Final Fantasy to me. I don't like that. I'm not a fan of that. I think that's pretty much it. Everything I wanted to go through. So I think we might actually leave the stream there at that point. 7 does the same, kind of. Why does 7 do the same? I mean, 7 has a lot of swords, but it's made by a different studio. Is there anything else I haven't gone through? Is there anything else I can think of that we haven't gone through? No, it's everything. No, that's everything. I think I've gone through everything I wanted to go through. So I might actually leave the stream there then at that point. We've gone for almost 3 hours now, I think, at this point, so that's really good. Or over 3 hours. Vayne is lame, but what about Thanos? Oh, I haven't played Revenant Rings, but I know the character you're talking about, the big supreme kind of judge character. I suppose that would be great. It would be a good way of getting a lesser known character from a series spin-off to come into the actual game. The ending is the ambiguous and yeah, I'm not gonna... That's a good point though, Lunatic. I like the idea of that character. As I said, I've never played the game, but I know what the character looks like. And it does look really cool. And we already have gotten characters like Bosch. Oh, not Bosch. Gabrant. There's a Buster Sword in 16 as a DLC. Oh, sorry, it's a free DLC download to have a Buster Sword. Okay, I didn't know that. Makes sense though. They'd want to tie those games together again as well. I can't wait for part 3 of Final Fantasy VII. I'm dying for it. I'm so hyped for it. I can't wait till we get it. But yeah, I think I'm going to leave everything there. I've gone through everything I wanted to go through. So, yeah, I think I'll leave it there. So, unless anybody else has any questions to ask me, I think I will just finish off, though, with saying, as you saw, I uploaded a video a couple of days ago regarding the story of the sins of Sasimo, and it was only pointed out to me after the fact that somebody else from a different channel actually uploaded the same video, and I was like, holy shit, really? And another creator called the Eorzean Historian actually did a video on it, and to be fair, they did a much better video than I did. So if you haven't watched it, definitely give it a watch. If you look at the comments in my Sins of Sasimo video, you'll see the links to their video, and it's actually really good. I highly recommend going to watch it. But I thought an old subject like that would have been a safe bet to do, because I've always wanted to do it. I think I came up with the idea a couple of years ago, but I just left it aside. So I have an entire folder filled with script ideas and stuff like that. So there's ideas. I have a million fucking ideas, but I never end up doing that much with them. Like, they'll sit, like, a lot of these have been sitting here for years. Like, things I wrote in 2020 that would sit here and I'd never do anything with them. Like Midgar, Summer, and Omega, their history. My Heidel Impacts weapons backstory. There's so many ideas I have, and I never end up doing them. One of them happens to be Sins of Sasimo, because I wanted to cover it properly, but I just never got around to it. And yeah, as you can see, like, I have a million ideas, but I never end up going through them. I usually end up writing down ideas, and I'll keep the ideas, and then I'll mine them for possible ideas for videos, but usually I end up coming up with something completely different. So I have a weird process, if that makes sense. But yeah, if you haven't seen their video, I highly recommend you do. And I want to apologize again for actually making a video. I know it's nobody's fault, but I do want to apologize to them regardless, because it's never good when a creator makes a video, they work hard on it, and then 3 days later somebody else makes an identical video. But I will give them proper credit that they made a better video, so highly recommend you watch their video. I think I probably will leave it up a bit longer. Like, this just all goes back to my character flaw of having an unhealthy habit of comparing my work to everybody else's work and stuff like that. So it's why I never watch other channel content in the first place. So I didn't even know this YouTuber existed. And to be fair, the creators who are much larger than I am, I'm assuming they're out there, but I don't know who any of them are, because I don't watch any of their content, I don't watch their channels. Occasionally I get reached out to them for collaborations, but I never collaborate either. So it's just, it is what it is. I don't really like doing collaborations, to be honest. I did one collaboration years ago, and I think it was a collaboration between like 4 different YouTubers, and I think one of them was, I think it's one of the names I recognized was Stout Helm, but I think Stout Helm never showed up for her or something. But I found it to be a very, I didn't really like it, to be honest, doing the collaboration. I mean, it was my first collaboration, I was excited, but I didn't really feel I had anything to participate into it, to be perfectly honest. I never advertised it on my channel either, to be honest. So it was somebody else's stream that they were doing, I was just participating in it. But yeah, collaborations are something I'll probably never end up doing. So I like to just sit, make my own content. If it's something that is really worth doing, then I'll definitely do it. But if it's just a random collaboration talking about lore between 2 creators, I'm probably just going to say no to it, because character flaw. Just call it a character flaw more than anything else. What about sitting down and talking shop with someone? I mean, I'd love for a developer to sit opposite me so I could pick their brain apart. So if I got Koji Fox to sit opposite me, I'd pick their brain apart. But to be honest, I'm doing most of that with you guys right now. So I don't really talk shop with people, to be honest. Like, I'm not really a person who can keep a conversation going, if that makes sense. I'm mostly a loner, to be perfectly honest. So I suppose it might be interesting, but I think it depends on the situation. So it depends on what the video it depends on what the project is, what sort of aim they have for the content, really. But it would entirely depend on that. But for the most part, I'd probably say no, because as I said, I don't watch anybody else's videos. I think the primary reason I didn't really interact well with the last collaboration I did years ago is because I didn't watch the content of the other YouTubers who were actually on the channel with me. Like, Stout Helm was supposed to be there. I never watched his content. I'd only heard his name a few times. But I don't watch any of their content, unfortunately, because, as I said, I've a thing about comparing myself to other creators that are creating the same videos as I do. So, it's just, it is what it is, unfortunately. Maybe one day, if a proper one comes up, I mean, I get approached for stuff all the time, but for the most part, I say no to it. Like, a lot of people will approach me, like, a lot of companies approach me as well, like any YouTuber, I get approached by people saying, do you want to advertise our product? And they're saying, like, no. And then it's like, no. And then they keep coming back to me, just go, do you want to advertise? No. Do I want to advertise your product on my thing? No. Because your products have nothing to do with me or any of the things I'm doing. So, unless you're advertising an FF14 keyboard, I have no interest of advertising anything you want to do. So, in the event that one day I get so large that people are approaching me for adverts and stuff like that, likelihood is I'm never going to do them. Like, the last thing I want to do is shill out freaking things for making money off people, because, to be quite frank, I hate it when it happens in videos that I watch. Unless it's somebody that I genuinely care about when I watch their videos. When I'm watching somebody's video about a subject and all of a sudden they start talking about some sort of fucking protein food or something, I don't give a shit. So the likelihood is I'm never going to do it. Unless it's something that directly relates to 100% of the people who watch my videos, I'm never going to do it. So the people who approach me for ads, thank you, but no. I'm never going to do it. Sorry. I'm not advertising your product. Opera GX, I couldn't give a shit about. I don't care what it has to do with games. I don't even use Opera GX. I'm not using it just to tell people to use it, because I don't use it. Sorry, I went off on a tangent a bit there. Sorry. But this is stuff that's it's developed for me over the last few years now, to be honest, is that people have started approaching me. I think I've gotten to the point now where I'm actually large enough that companies started approaching me, and I'm just like, no. I'm just like, yeah, thanks for your interest, but your product actually has nothing to do with the people who are watching my videos, and I don't want to show it to them for that reason. I don't want to convert them to do anything else that they don't want to do. So unless it has to do with FF14 directly, or something very gaming specific that everybody would be interested in, I'm not doing an ad on that. So no protein food, no fucking Opera GX, no whatever. Like random things that they keep coming up and showing me with. So if you want to approach me, but odds are I'm not going to show your ads. Sorry. Even if one day by some Herculean miracle I reach like 100,000 subscribers, I'm still not going to do ads unless they directly relate to every single person, all 100,000 of those people watching my video. Unless it directly relates to them, I'm not doing it. And people are probably going, yeah, you say that now with your 100k subscribers. To be honest, I couldn't give a shit. I hate it when it comes up on other people's videos and I have to sit through and watch it, or I have to skip ahead. It pisses me off. So I'm not subjecting you guys to that. Okay, I'm gonna shut up now. I'm gonna shut up now. I'm out of drink as well. I need more orange. Okay, I think I'm going to finish there. So I've done everything I need to do. I think people are going to Unreal soon, so I kind of want to tag along because I haven't done the Unreal yet. So I definitely want to do that. So I think I'll leave it there. Actually, I'll talk about this last thing. So what's your opinion of Jog? I'll be 100% honest. I only started using Jog yesterday. I only realized Jog was the thing yesterday. I didn't really read the patch notes on it. A lot of people are saying characters look derpy when they're jogging. If you're not familiar with Jog is a new system they added that if you sprint while you're in a sanctuary like Solution 9, your sprint will keep going, as you can see here. You'll sprint, you'll sprint, you'll sprint, and when sprint runs out, you enter a jog, which is halfway between sprint and running. Yeah, people are overreacting. I mean, look at the size of this freaking city. And they want people to walk around it. Jog is a very good addition. It allows me to walk around, because I do nothing but walk around this freaking city when I'm thinking up ideas and all. I welcome Jog. I don't mind Jog. I'm gonna jog around the city. I'm a fast walker IRL, so yeah, I'm gonna welcome this. Like, I don't find it derpy at all. It's a bit faster, sure. I mean, it's just a sped up version of my normal run, and the animations are like that. Two people are overacting. Unless you play Elizin, then I understand. Oh god, what does an Elizin look like when they're running? I'm dying to see that. Or a male aura. Oh, because they're lanky. Is that the reason? Because they're so tall and they're so... Now that I can picture it in my mind's eye. Yeah, maybe on a taller character it's fine, but with a lot of fella like myself, I don't mind. I mean, my character kind of looks blurry. Like, my character's gyrating so quickly, I kind of look blurry. I don't know if you can actually see this yourself or it's just my monitor, but I kind of look blurry. I'm just kind of like the Flash. I'm doing the blur. Yeah, so I guess I like that, but people are going on like about it's the worst change they've ever done. I'm just like, you can click it off. Just like, there you go, look. I mean, my character looks natural like that. The jog is, yeah. I suppose if they slow down the animation like that, it would still look like a jog, because you kind of look at you're running here, so jog is just a bit weird. I feel sorry for the devs. I feel sorry for the devs. They get picked apart on this shit all the time. Like, a lot of people are always unhappy. Some people are just consistently unhappy. Aura run like Crash Bandicoot. Oh my god. Okay. I kind of have to see an Aura run around now, to be honest. I haven't seen one running around. But somebody literally has to review sprint and then be constantly in motion, right? They're too attached to our characters. It's unhealthy. Max, I'll be fair. I'm very attached to my character. If you ask me to change race, fuck off. I'm not changing race. I'm very attached to my character, but I'm not too attached that I'm just gonna go like, oh my god, I'm jogging differently. This game is broken now. I'm not gonna do that. I mean, I welcome jog. I like jog. There's only certain things in this game that would really peeve me. And one of them is this. Do you want me to show you something that will peeve you? Here, I'll show you something, right? Here, let me show you something. This will probably really tilt you off the edge here, right? You've probably already seen this. Hang on. This pathway. Nice pathway, isn't it? Leading up to the Arcadion. The steps are down there, right? Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? And then you start walking up it. You start walking. You start walking. You start walking. You start walking, walking. And then you get this. You see it? You see it? I'm sorry for showing you this. I'm sorry. It's so blatantly just in your face. It's horrible. Look at it. It's just a pure fucking like, oh god. Oh, it's disgusting. I can't stand it. It's horrible. Oh, I'm sorry. But yeah, there's jog and then there's this. I'm just like, fuck, I don't give a shit about jog. I give a shit about this. My immersion is broken. Oh. It's so bad. I don't know why they couldn't match this up though. Is it just, I think it's just an oversight, but I just don't know how they couldn't match it. You kind of like it? I mean, I guess it stands out like a guy just standing around with an out of place erection. It's just like a guy standing over there and he's just fully erect. And you can't help but just look at it and just say, fuck. So it's just like, I can see it, but I don't want to see it. That's the thing I get from this. Like, I see it, but I don't want to see it. It's just, yeah. So yeah, I mean, yeah. So jog is like literally the last thing I'd be complaining about when we have stuff like that. I'm still shocked they haven't fixed that, to be honest. There's probably multiple examples of it around Solution 9 and we just haven't seen it. Like, everything else is perfect. It's just that. And I can see it from here. Ugh. Ugh, it's disgusting. Still makes my skin crawl. So See, everything else is built out just fine. Does it exist down here? I don't think it exists down here. See, look. Look there, look. See, that's a proper divide. Look, they could have done that. I mean, that one's more pronounced, see? That's where they did the divide. That's what they should have done up there, but they didn't do it. See? Because they blended two of them together by doing that. Does it exist here? Yeah, look. This path doesn't have it, see? See? Not a single bit. No. And then there's that. Wait, what the fuck is that? Oh, it's a light. It's an LED strip. Okay, that's an LED strip. See, that's fine. That's just, that's electro. Or, it's kind of like, it's not really acting like electro though. It's weird. But yeah, that's an example. See, the pathways down here don't have that. It's just stuff there. Solution 9 got what they paid for with souls running out. One could hardly blame them for cutting corners. Yeah, I'm not surprised. This place is going to start deteriorating very quick. I originally came here to look for Sugar Rush's art as well, and I didn't really do that, did I? Although, I'm starting to think these LEDs and all are hers. But yeah, I think I'll leave it there. So, I think I've tortured you all enough by showing you that, so... yeah, I'll leave it there. So, everybody go on and enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and do whatever you need to do. Go to bed early, or whatever you have to do. I had a good day today, so I'm happy. And I got this stream out of the way, so it's very good as well. It's been an extreme pleasure debating the finer points of FF14 lore with every single one of you. So I had a great time. It's 11 PM for you. Oh my god, go to bed. You should not be up this late. I can't stay up past 11 o'clock. Not a chance. I'm too old for that now. I turned 39 just recently. I'm just like, I'm boomer now. I'm a boomer. See, I'm a boomer. I can complain about this. I'm a boomer now. Boomers can complain about this. It's like, in my day, we didn't have stuff like this. It's just like, okay, boomer. You're 3:05 PM, so you're definitely in the United States somewhere. Kind of. Well, I think, to be honest, most of the people who tune into my channel are in the United States. I think, judging by the analytics. Which makes sense. Right, go on. I'm gonna go, and you should all go as well. I'm gonna go eat. I'm freaking starving. Everybody have a good night, and I'll hopefully do another stream very soon. That said, because of what's happened with that last video, drive fast, take chances. I'm not driving fast and taking chances on a motorbike. Fuck that, Brad. Might be moving out of the US, unsure. To be honest, Will, a lot of people are thinking the same as you are. Yeah, I'll do another stream soon, depending on what's going on, but with 4 months until the next content, that's going to be weird. I'm working on my next video. Primarily, I'm putting more emphasis on it now. I'm actually covering a subject that I've wanted to cover for a while. It's going to require a bit more research and a bit more... I'd say I'm probably going to have to theorycraft some content as well, because I'm going to have to guess about some content that is and isn't part of the FF14 sphere that we've never actually gotten info on. So it's going to be a great subject. I can't wait to actually do it. It's something I've wanted to do for a while, so you'll enjoy it. I'm going to pay proper attention to the script and hopefully get it done soon. So everybody, have a good night and have a good one.